Test. All right, how about now? Probably have sound now. Looks like voice mod was a little messed up. The bad news is for people that are voice mod fans, if this is working, okay, sound is good now. Yeah, I can't do voice mod today, so gonna have to just deal with me as is. So 2 weeks have passed. You'll notice that the room looks different. Oh wait, I closed one closet door, but not the other. Close them both. See the cool background back there, right? The RGB lighting. It's the only lighting I have in the room is the RGBs, and I have my monitor setup, which I'll be talking about. There's been a lot of rearranging in the last 2 weeks. I've rearranged my office. You used to be on the corner over there. Now you are in the center. You're in the center of the office. I used to have 2 screens. Now I have 3. I have 3 32-inch monitors here, which has been it was quite the project getting it all working, but it's worked, and I like it. I'm happy about the change. And then, in addition, last weekend I installed these RGB lights. Those are Gove lights, Govee. Got them on Amazon. I think I saw them on Facebook, and then I bought them on Amazon. And again, I'm feeling warm. As soon as I sit here to stream, I get warm. It's weird. Alexa, turn on office fan. Let's see if it works. It didn't work. Okay, and I think that doesn't throw a annoying shadow like the. It feels better. An annoying shadow like who complains about that shadow? Is it PJ Wares or Scamster? I don't know. They didn't like the shadow that the fan in the kitchen throws. So, the camera angle is different. Obviously, I have it down lower, so you can get this background behind me. I might mix it up. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to keep this orientation or not. There's a lot of firsts here tonight. A lot of first thing I'm trying things this way tonight. You do get to see my cool full face helmets on the wall at least. All right. So we have people. Spartacus was the first comment in here. Thank you, Spartacus. I did pin a friendly suggestion to like the stream if you have not. That will help visibility of the stream. I also put a goal, a super chat goal. Feel free to ignore it totally, but this is a new feature that YouTube is doing, where you can have these super chat goals for a stream, and basically you set a goal for super chats, and then that's what the little bullseye is up top there. That's a goal of 10 super chats. Like I said, I don't care if you super chat or not. I was just messing with that feature. So that is what that is. RG was here. Is here. He's the first one that told me that you guys could not hear me. One Somniac is here. Sijic. Sijic was one of the winners of the PidZoom 2 weeks ago. Was the live stream where we gave away the PidZoom mirrors, and I think everyone has gotten them already. At first, there was a little communication issue between me and PidZoom, but we got it straightened out. I dealt with both Leo and Bob, the president of PidZoom, and they got those mirrors out pretty quickly. So I was happy about that, and I let them know that I'd be happy to do giveaways in the future. During that last live stream 2 weeks ago, I also bought this. Remember the PidZoom TPMS system. which we'll be talking about my experiences. I've started a video on this. I have not finished it yet, and there's some important information regarding those that you need to know before you buy one. Leo from Brazil's here. What's up, buddy? Keeping the streak alive. Thank you, Leo. I don't know if I'm close enough to the mic or not. I think I am. Finn Wico is here. What's up? What's up, buddy? You were here last stream as well, I believe. Your Alexa is about as useful as mine. Yeah, they can be a little touchy, especially the one in here for some reason. The one in the office is very unreliable. I don't really understand why one would be better than another, but yeah. Cedric is waiting to get a new helmet before I hook up the PID Zoom. Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm just glad you're gonna get use out of it. This is a new angle. Yes, as I said, it is. It is. My place is lit up neon blue. Also, yeah. Well, I can do all kinds of lights as well. Like these are light sticks that are on the cabinet there. I just have them a solid blue right now. I mean, you can have these things do a million colors, a million patterns. Same thing with the wall RGB, which is designed to look like a flux capacitor. Unless you're Dawn. Dawn thought it was a female pregnancy prevention device. But everyone else that has seen this has quickly identified that this looks like a flux capacitor. So, yeah. PJ's here. What's up, buddy? Guten Abend, Duff. And PJ correctly identifies that as a flux capacitor. Now, I was considering not drinking on this stream because I've had a very heavy drinking weekend. Friday, I went to my my buddy's house for his birthday. It was his 57th birthday party. He's been a friend of mine for a while, and it was his entire family and me. He's Puerto Rican. His Puerto Rican family. It was all family members and me, which I was honored to be invited. To be honest with you. But it was I drank a lot. I can't remember, 2 or 3 espresso martinis, probably at least 4 glasses of red wine. He kept topping me off and giving me big pours. I had a Modelo beer, and then a 1.5 some seltzer drink. I don't remember what, some grapefruit seltzer drink. So I was mixing, and it was a large amount, and I felt okay right until about halfway through that second seltzer drink, and then the little siren in my head went off, and that siren means if you continue to drink, you're going to probably throw up. So as soon as I feel that, I stop. And I started drinking water, and because I was feeling kind of a little nauseous for a while, and I wound up not leaving there until 11:30, probably, maybe after that. And I had the Tesla, and to be safe, I had the Tesla. Thank goodness, we got another free month of the full self-driving preview because I had the Tesla drive me home. Completely. I did nothing. Once I got out of the development, I turned it on. It got me up onto the interstate, got me off the interstate, the back roads to my house without me doing anything. So yeah, full self-driving was much appreciated. My biggest issue was full self-driving, new full self-driving. What it does is it watches your eyes to make sure that you are looking at the road. And I was so tired, like I'm just struggling to keep my eyes open. It was, so it was definitely a good thing to have Friday night. So yeah, drank a lot on Friday night, and then I was out last night again, and I had for dinner, and I had 3 margaritas, strong margaritas last night. So yeah, I've definitely eclipsed my normal alcohol consumption. And now I have Cayman Jack here. I don't anticipate drinking a lot of these. So, But I don't know. I feel naked if I'm not drinking something on a live stream. So yeah, but yeah, big drinking weekend. Spartacus got his PID Zoom. Great. It was fast AF. That's what we like. Philip Arnold, channel member. Philip Arnold, howdy duff and all. We are on for another 5-hour live stream. No, this will not be 5 hours. Today is Sunday, meaning I have to work tomorrow. So 5 hours. I mean, yeah, I can do anything, but doing a 5-hour live stream on a Sunday would be really stupid. That being said, I've been known to do really stupid things. So, it would just join the list of stupid things. Sijic says, I appreciate your blogs, Tuduff. It was interesting about the guy who offered you SEO work. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that as well. That's another thing that happened in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I have a lot of people that have read my blog for a long time, and sometimes I'm surprised by people that read my blog. And it's kind of along the lines of like a live stream where I just kind of talk about whatever's going on. Sometimes it's very mundane things. Sometimes it's deeper. But yeah, I've done that for a long time. Larry's here. I'm going to be very careful with my comments because the AI recap may get them wrong or attribute them to Marty. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Marty does get enough attribution as is, right? You have to be careful because AI, you never know what AI is going to do. It could make you out to be the bad guy. Leo, do you have any news about Dawn? Is she all right from the crash? Yes, she's fine. Yeah, it looked worse than it was. I mean, she wasn't injured. I mean, it just looked bad because she's slid down the side of that hill a little bit, but no, she was fine. She is okay. Fiend Wico. Wow, you listen to that siren? Maybe that's why I don't drink anymore. Yeah, well, there's been times in the past where I haven't listened to that siren and I've paid the price. So yeah, I am 56, so I have learned some lessons over the years, and one of them is to not drink to the point where you throw up. I'm trying to think the last time that I drank to the point where I threw up. I think it might have been probably, is it 10 years ago already? The running club used to do an Oktoberfest thing, and I remember I drank so much beer there that I threw up. My dad and stepmom were down visiting, and I was in the passenger seat, and on a Mockley Road, I told them to pull over, and I got out and I threw up right in front of a church on a Mockley Road. I think that's the last time I threw up from alcohol. Not since then. Sajic, don't crash again. No, they're referring to. Oh wait, is this something new that I don't know about today that happened? I just know about the one on the tour. What else are we referring to? Is there something else? Maybe I'm out of the loop. I did not. Let's see. I do have Facebook up here. Let me see if Dawn has something on her. Okay, there's nothing on her Facebook. What kind of crash are we talking about? Are we talking about the crash during the tour or something else? My UC journey says Dawn is fine, no worries. Stan, any opinion on EVs closing shop? That's something that I plan to talk about. They're not closing shop. I watched the video that they posted today that was about the Apex and Bradley's change. They're not closing shop. Unless you know something I don't stand, but as far as I know, the business is running. He mentioned kind of emulating what Jason's doing, how Jason lives in Canada, but he runs e-wheels. I guess, I don't know, maybe he's looking to do something similar. But anyways, well, I can talk about that more. PJ did buy my V10F. That's been another change since the last live stream 2 weeks ago. So our V10F is good. Can't ride it for shit. Fell in through my back a little. No practice for a few days. Yeah. Slow and steady, PJ. Slow and steady. His name is Ralph. Okay. I'm not sure whose name that is. My UC journey, kind of echoing what I just said. Brad's moving. Bradley's moving. Yes. Okay. So you guys were referring to the tour thing. Yeah. Yeah. She hasn't. That she was not injured on that. It looked dramatic, so it got a lot of attention. But she's okay. So okay. Other changes. I mentioned the lights. I mentioned redoing my office. Oh wait, RG. Oh, as far as his name is Ralph, old Cheech and Chong reference. Okay, I'm familiar with Cheech and Chong. I'm not familiar with that reference. So, anyways, let's talk about the TPMS system since it's sitting here in front of me right now. Then I can toss it somewhere else. Like I mentioned, I got this TPMS system live on stream 2 weeks ago. I bought it because of what happened to me with my crash, where I had a sudden loss of tire pressure due to a valve stem ripping on the tube in my Master V4. I thought that monitoring the pressure would be a good thing on that wheel and any other wheel that I can do it with. I bought the 2 sensor system, figuring I can manage 2 wheels that way. So I got it, and I set up the head unit, and that's relatively easy. The button configuration is a little wonky, like to change certain things is kind of wonky, but the default settings are pretty good. The only change I really made was I changed it to the temperature. It also monitors temperature on the sensor as well. I changed the temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So, but what I found out was the sensors themselves, which the way that it works is they replace the valve cap, right? I don't know how well this will show up. They replace the valve cap. Okay, right here you see one. Oh, okay, the camera's actually kind of focusing on that. They're pretty big, and they're big enough that they don't work with all wheels. One wheel, the first wheel I tried it on was my veteran Patton, and I got the sensor on fine, but it's too big that it will not actually clear the batteries on the Patton. If you tried to rotate it, it would literally knock the sensor off. So that was a bummer. I tried it on my V13. I could not get it on my V13. The valve stem was too close to the motor housing, and I could not get enough clearance to get the sensor on. I talked to Bob about that one, and he said if you deflate the V13 tube completely and then just kind of adjust that valve stem a little bit, that you should be able to get clearance to be able to use it on the V13. So I haven't tried that yet, but I will do that. And the only wheel that it installed cleanly on without doing anything else was the Master. Actually, it fits on the Master fine. And I asked Bob, I said, so are people aware that this only works with certain wheels? And evidently there is an FAQ on the PidZoom site for this TPMS that does tell you what wheels it works with. It doesn't really say which ones it doesn't work with, but it says which ones it works with. So let me just see if I can bring it up here. So the moral of the story is, if you're gonna get one of these, you want to make sure that it works with your wheel. I had a couple comments from people that have, one comment from someone that bought this for their Patton, and then they were disappointed that it did not work with the Patton. And this isn't exactly cheap. You know, the single sensor is $69. If you get a double, it's $79. Okay, let me share this. Sharing. Entire screen. That screen. It's a little interesting for me. Make myself smaller. There we go. Because my new monitor is a 4K monitor, so I'm running higher resolution in the middle, and then the other ones are 1920 by 1080. So it's a little disorienting, not too terrible, but yeah. But anyways, here you go. Right here in the FAQ, it tells you how it works with a few popular PEV models that are supported. Mentions a number of Begode wheels. I would think that it works with most Begode wheels, probably. Inmotion V11, V11Y. It does mention the V13. Like I said, I could not get it to fit on my V13 first try, but I will try again. The Sherman S links. I would anticipate it works on the Sherman L as well. So it is something you need to look into. You might even want to specifically reach out to them if you're considering buying the TPMS and just verify that it works with your wheel, because it would be a bummer to spend that money and then have it not work, right? Russell Zauner says, I used to work with a CR a lot when I was at Intel. It's actually pretty nice as long as you keep the areas near campuses like Intel's. Work with CR. Unfortunately, Russell, I'm not quite sure what a CR is. Citric says, how is the tire pressure monitor going to keep the valve stem from ripping? It's not. But if your tire pressure is getting low, like say for example, you have a small leak that is my hair, man. Small leak that is letting pressure out of the tube. You'd be able to spot it quicker. And if that small leak lets the tube deflate to a point where the tube could shift and then potentially the valve stem could rip, I don't know. Bottom line, I think it's you can't have too much information, right? So I think that is the benefit. And if you have a tubeless tire, you want to know that you're losing pressure on a tubeless tire as well, right? And what it does when the pressure is low is there's a little red LED on it that flashes and it makes a beeping sound. The way that I would probably use this is I would move the head unit from wheel to wheel. I would just strap it onto the wheel, and I'm not quite sure how I would do it, but that's or Velcro it between the wheels. PJ says, what would be nice is if the sensor sees a sudden loss of pressure, that it would trigger the wheel tilt back and slow you down. Yeah, but again, like in my situation, I don't think it would have helped because it was so quick it wouldn't have mattered. But I do have an appreciation for tire pressure that I did not previously, and I have been monitoring my tire pressure anytime I take a wheel out. One other thing I noticed with this sensor is you're going to want to probably inflate your tire a couple PSI higher than what you actually want, because it seems like there's no way for me to get it on without it taking a half a second, and it loses some pressure as you're attaching the valve. At least that's been the sense, or that's been the experience for me. So I would probably overinflate a little bit when you're using the sensor. Insomniac, sudden loss of pressure is not the same as a blowout during running. It is. It is not the same. You are right. Russell correctly stating that the TPMS sensors are on the inside on vehicles. That is correct. Yes. Wow, that is big. Yeah, it talks about the actual dimensions of the sensor as being a little over 18 millimeters by 15 millimeters. So in theory, you could like take a measuring tape and you could see if you have the clearance for that. Russell stating that CR is Costa Rica. Gotcha. Cedric, do you feel that the Patton is still a relevant wheel amongst all the new releases? Sure, it's still, yeah, it is. As far as 16-inch wheels go that are out there, I mean, you have the Extreme, right? You have the V14. Yeah, I mean, the Patton's a great wheel. The suspension is probably the best suspension on a 16-inch wheel currently still. It's a 126-volt wheel. Has plenty of power for the vast majority of EUC riders that are not chasing the upper limits, can go, if you push it, probably 50 miles an hour, and it can go about 50 miles on a charge, at least on my experience with my riding style. And because of its smaller form factor, it's very agile. And yeah, I love the Patton. I still would, if I only could have one wheel, I would keep the Patton still. This is another thing that changed in the last 2 weeks. A lot of stuff. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on. Today I can talk about this more later. I was doing fence work most of the afternoon and freaking beat up, man. Okay, here we go. Let's show this now. Okay, my Patton is on the right. On the left is the Patton, Jason's Patton that I still have not sold yet. I do need to probably list that on the Electric Unicycle for Sale group. I have not done that yet for some reason. The last live stream, one of the viewers mentioned a big 3D printed mod kit for the Patton. What you see in the right is the extended handle that's part of that kit. It's by a creator named Maverick7, I believe. If you want to support him, you actually pay for the files. I don't know, it's $10 or something. And I did pay for them. But one of the cool things that it does, and this is only part of the kit, like there's replacement lower bumpers, there's a replacement handle for the back. There's a bunch of replacement parts that you can print out of TPU that are super durable. That piece that I printed feels super strong, but it's nice because it's higher and it allows much better access to the charge port. At the same time allowing you to do some more color coordination with the wheel. Now, I'm not crazy about that color orange. When I order orange in the brand that I normally order, that was my only option. That's kind of more like creamsicle, kind of. I prefer a little darker orange, like what you see on the E-Rides pedals down below there. So I actually have a darker TPU coming, orange TPU coming, that I hope to reprint those handles in to make it match the other oranges on the wheel. Printing it wasn't that hard, except there's a couple angles where you have to use supports. And with TPU, supports are a pain in the ass to get off cleanly. I've been doing some test prints just to try to come up with some settings that work the best. But no matter what I've done, the supports that I've had to use are kind of a mess. Luckily, you can't really tell on the print once it is installed, but I would prefer to have it be a little bit cleaner. But it's a cool modification for your Patton. You can make a good wheel even better, in my opinion. Did I answer your question, Sidjic? Hopefully. All right. RG. You also need a sensor for the battery level in your pressure sensor. That's incorporated into the head unit. And I actually did take one apart just to see the battery that's in there. It's a little disc battery that is replaceable. But if it went low, you would be notified by the head unit. Dale's here. What's up, buddy? Dale, channel member. Dale, what's up, bud? I'll try to not ban you this time, if possible. PJ says, you're right, the V10F is a bit scuffed up, but I'm glad it is. Now if I drop it and add more scratches, and I won't feel so guilty. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the wheel that you're learning on, you can't fit, you cannot expect to keep it pristine. That is not realistic. And, Marty always says that, wheels are meant to be ridden, and I agree. There are some people that freak out if they get a scratch on their wheel, and that's okay, but In my opinion, it's much less stressful if you just accept that a wheel is gonna, it's gonna get dirty, it's gonna get scratches, and that's just fine. Sijic says, I ask about the Patton because Adam and Albert, 2 cells, 1 pack, didn't include it on their tier list last time they did a live stream together. I don't know. I got to turn the fan down a little bit. Now it's a little bit too much. Hold on. Let's see how that is. Let's see how that is. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that live stream, so I'm not sure what they were thinking as far as the tier list goes. Did they have other 16-inch wheels on there, like the Extreme and V14? Because if they did, then that's definitely an oversight not having a Patton on there, in my opinion. Oh shit! Okay, I got to remember to do that. So yeah, I mean, to me, the Patton is still a fine wheel, and I know where you can get one for like $2,100 shipped in the United States. Duff at ECArmy.com. Vicus says, and I'm getting a headache, probably from drinking again. My body's probably like, what the F are you doing to yourself? I ask myself that regularly. Vicus, thoughts on aftermarket chargers? Is PID-Zoom the best charger, or is there better? A lot of people are partial to, at least people that I know, are partial to Rogers chargers. That being said, I believe the technology between Rogers chargers and Hao Ning Nings and PID-Zoom, it's all pretty close. So I don't think that there's a night and day difference, but the community in general kind of likes to support Rogers. So if someone would ask me personally, I would recommend a Roger charger, but a PID-Zoom charger, as far as I know, are pretty good as well. I know Dale has messed with a PID-Zoom charger, but he had a different one. I think they came out with a newer one, if I'm not mistaken. Russell says tabless cells are going to be your next battery pack upgrade or new ride. Well, I don't know. We'll believe it when we see it, right? It's all a matter of cost. That's really it. Like how much do they cost? George. Yes, this is another change in the last 2 weeks. It's been a busy 2 weeks, right? Busy. George, who bought my Sherman S via a layaway program, basically. George sent me. I was trying to figure it out, George. I think the first check came in September or something, early September. I don't quite remember, but it was wild. Like the whole transaction probably took close to 3 months. And I've never done one this way, but it's been fine. And I got the final payment last week, right, George? When did I get it? Yeah, I think sometime last week, and I shipped it out, and it should be coming there soon, I believe. George is in Northern California, I believe, right, George? But anyways, George asked recommendations for upgrading the Sherman S. Well, I mean, that Sherman S already has upgraded pedals. It already has the seat. It already has the shock tower covers. It already has the cool EUC Army sticker, and it has the kinetic pads as well, which are good pads. So I don't know. It depends what you like, George. I never felt like the wheel needed anything else, but different strokes for different folks. Citrix says they had the V14 in the tier list, but don't remember hearing about the Extreme. Okay. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't watch it, but I don't get bent out of shape about that. Anyone ask me what I think about the Patton, I think it's a great wheel. That has been my answer for a very long time and has not changed. Vicus, if you're getting a headache, don't underestimate the power of hydration. I do a little water between beers. Yeah, well, I am probably dehydrated but I did drink a decent amount. but I was outside for most of the afternoon, and it was relatively warm, and I was sweating. So yeah, I might be dehydrated somewhat. Larry suggesting to George the Cyclope headlight. Yeah, a lot of people have done that with their veteran wheels. I never have done that. The problem with the default headlight on the veteran wheels is it's very bright. It's very bright, but it's bright to the point of blinding. It blinds oncoming cyclists, motorists, people, pedestrians. So supposedly that Cyclope headlight is better in that regard, but I have not ever used it. My UC drink. Oh, for my headache or doobie. I don't do doobies. I do have edibles. It's funny. I took an edible last week. I have a card. I'm legal, all that kind of stuff. But I took one last week, and then the day after, the morning after I woke up, like my left eye was like all red and shit. It was really weird. I don't know that it's connected, but it was the day after I took it. And it took me a couple days to get rid of it with eye drops and stuff. It was kind of weird. PJ, maybe you should get your liver checked. Oh, God. That's the last thing I'm looking for is an excuse to go to a doctor, PJ. I am not a big doctor fan. I mean, I do it if I have to, but I really don't like it. Larry's been celebrating the Dodgers here. Yes, I'm sure. Those of you that don't follow Larry, he has a very, very fancy Dodgers, like a varsity jacket that I don't remember the entire backstory, Larry, but that's something that you've had for years. I guess the last time the Dodgers won the series or something like that. So he's dusted it off and brought it out, and I know Larry was very, very excited about the Dodgers win. I didn't watch a single game of the World Series. I have to be honest. And it's weird. And I've talked about this before. I when I was growing up, I was so into baseball, and I thought I was going to be a baseball player, Major League Baseball player. It was a goal of mine. I was a left-handed pitcher. I was scouted by several Major League teams. I was invited to workouts with the Pirates and the Blue Jays. But then my senior year, I had an accident where I fell on my left elbow, my throwing elbow, and it was all messed up. And I never really recovered from that. I don't know. I never got better sufficiently enough to throw as hard as I used to prior to that. So why am I telling you that story? I don't know. I think I probably said it before. Sidgwick says the Patton is an excellent wheel compared to what you're purchasing in the same price range of other wheels. Yeah, that's my feeling. George likes the headlight suggestion. Okay. Larry is another Patton. Larry, I should mention that Larry is a channel member. I know Larry is a big Patton advocate as well. He likes the fact that it's manageable and not that heavy. I mean, it's funny when you say not that heavy. For a 16-inch wheel, it's heavy, but compared to a lot of wheels out there, it is not. So. Nine Electromatic, you was only half stoned. Nine Electromatic, I don't know that I've seen you on a live stream before, but welcome. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe I need one of those tonight to cancel out all the alcohol the weekend. I do know. I thought that I made a correlation in the past when I would take like edibles that it would help me with some of my inflammatory issues with my joints. But I have not been taking them on a regular basis lately, meaning the last several months. Murray's here. What's up, buddy? Murray from Australia, also a channel member. What's up, Murray? Larry says regarding his Dodgers jacket, I bought the jacket in the 90s thinking I'd only wear it when they won the World Series. Waited a long time. In 2020, COVID kept people from seeing it. Now it's official. That's a big deal, man. It's big. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Los Angeles that are very happy. PJ says, I may actually get a Patton once and if I master this V10, time will tell. I mean, my channel has a bunch of videos related to what the learning process for me. So I wonder if I have a headache because of the higher resolution that I'm looking here. That could be it. Maybe let me make this bigger. See if that helps. Now you're full screen. It's like, whoa, there's a lot going on in front of me. But anyways, PJ says that he might get a Patton once he masters the V10. On my channel, there's a lot of learning to ride videos, and there's lots of learning to ride videos out there in the internet in general. But mine are okay, I guess. Lone Ranger. I don't know that I've seen you in the live stream before either. Lone Ranger. Is Tonto coming? I'm new to riding an EUC and learning on a T4 Pro. Okay, I had a T4, not a Pro. I had a T4. I would like to get the Veteran Sherman L when I'm ready. How much time or miles should I spend on the T4 before I spend the money for a Sherman L? The answer to that question is it depends. It depends. It's different for everybody. I would recommend that you are fully comfortable before you go to a Sherman L. But everyone, that amount of time or mileage varies for everybody. So all depends. But T4 is a relatively small wheel compared to a Sherman L, so there would be a significant difference between the two wheels. Larry giving PJ some encouragement regarding learning. Enjoy being a beginner. As adults, we don't often get the opportunity to learn new things. True. That's a good viewpoint, Larry. All right. George is attaching a number to Lone Ranger's question. George says that 1,500 miles is about how long it takes to become completely comfortable with your wheel. And then you should get a used Sherman L for about 2.5K. Yeah. Like now that I completed that transaction with George, I was considering, okay, well, do I want to get a Sherman L now? I don't know. Do I need to get a Sherman? This is all internal conversation. Oh wait, I want to do something real quick. Hold on. I just watch this. Look at this. Look at me. Now look at me. Look at me. During the live stream that Wrong Way and Jack did for the Apex, it seemed like Jack had on this feature in StreamYard where it touches up your appearance. And it made him look like this, like his face was all washed out, but it almost looked like he had lipstick on too. It was kind of freaky, right? Let's see. That is okay. That's not max touch up. Here's max touch up. Okay, this is very strong touch up. Look at that. I look like I'm 35, right? We spoke about the blog earlier. This is one of the things that I actually talked about on the blog. Okay, we're gonna go back to natural. You're gonna have to just look at all my 56 years of scars and lines. How the world relies on filters nowadays. Everyone's filtering their appearance so they look better. Not only in pictures, but also you can do it in videos now. You can do a rolling filter for stuff. And I understand where that comes from. Everyone wants to look good, right? And I in the blog I mentioned how with print ads and stuff, stuff you would see in magazines, all those pictures are touched up and people are thinned out and smoothed out and all that kind of stuff. But now it's stupid easy, right? It's just one button. You just saw how easy that was. It took all 2 seconds. But I don't know. For whatever reason, that day I was feeling just weird about it. Like what does that actually accomplish when you when you filter yourself to the world, because although filters are good, you can still tell that someone's filtered. Like obviously you could tell that I was just filtered, right? So what are you actually accomplishing there? I don't know. That was my question, and I didn't really have an answer for it. Sidebar. PJ says, I get migraines. I don't get migraines. Ibuprofen is a godsend for me for my joint issues. I take ibuprofen every time before I play pickleball or volleyball, either 2 or 3 of them, and it gets me through it. George has had migraines for years until my partner figured out I'm gluten intolerant. I might be. I don't know. I've never had those kind of tests because I'm very paranoid about getting thrown down a rabbit hole of testing. PJ, the Inmotion app is telling me that the V10 has over 1,000 miles on it. I think your friend was riding more than he told you. He said around 1,000. What does it say that it has total? He said around 1,000. But no, I didn't double check his work, but I did ride the wheel. I mean, the wheel rides fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Dale says no filter is going to help me. It might, Dale. I don't know. You should try it, man. I mean, you just saw what it did to me. I mean, it gave me a clean shaven face. You know, my stubble was gone. No wrinkles. I mean, yeah, it's amazing, right? Dale, my mouth needs a filter sometimes. Amen, Dale. Amen. And I will not dispute that. Dale says 1,000 miles is just broken in. Yeah, that's true in Dale's world. Larry says, people filter because they are curating their appearance rather than looking natural. Too much emphasis on external versus internal appearance. Right. Well, yes, I agree. But the question I had is like, what does it get you in the end? Right? Are you fooling people? Like I've seen, I mean, and again, you can apply that to women that wear makeup, right? Like I've seen lots of videos of just like they show before and after, or it's actually it's better when they show an after and then they show the before. Like they'll show a picture of a woman that looks like a knockout. Look at her makeup. She looks beautiful, right? Beautiful. And then they show her without makeup, and it's like, what? It's the same person. Seriously, I mean, the transformation is that dramatic, and that can be done with just filters. Like there's someone that's a Facebook friend of mine, who I don't even know that is why she's a Facebook friend of mine. I think it goes back, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when I was into calisthenics. I think she's like a friend of someone that was in calisthenics. But we became Facebook friends back then, never communicated at all. But I get her stuff. She's an Asian lady. And all she posts are videos of her singing along to popular music. They're like shorts or whatever. And in these videos, her face is beautiful, beautiful. Not a mark on her face, perfect makeup. Her eyes look beautiful. But if you saw what this woman actually looks like, now, and I'm sure she's doing it with the filter. It's not makeup, it's a filter. If you saw what she actually looked like in real life, it's just like, oh my God. So I don't know. I guess I guess it gives people, is it a dopamine hit? Like saying, oh, you look so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But it's a false version of yourself. So what is that actually doing? I don't know. I just don't. There's so many good things about social media, but there's probably more bad things, right? And that's one of them. 9 electromatic. I say stay far away from the doctor. I try. I only go when I have to. Sejik, how many miles on your Patton? Which one? Mine or the one I'm selling? The one I'm selling has just under 2,000 miles. My Patton has less than 500, I'm sure. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's less than 500. It might be less than 400. Larry says, people think life is a beauty contest. What you look like, drive, and where you live, aka materialism, right? Well, the what you look like isn't materialistic. Those other things are, and which I'm sure you're very, very familiar with living in Los Angeles, right, Larry? Perception is reality for a lot of folks. Yeah, I've heard that. Just sad though, right? It's kind of sad, and Larry does not like it. Yeah, I don't either. Murray says it's us, the modern fake world. Yeah, it is, right? It's like the Matrix, right? Everyone is a image of themselves, or like what's the word? Like an avatar, right? Like people are putting like avatars of themselves out there on the internet instead of themselves. It's in they are promoting their avatar. Okay, I'm caught up. So let's talk. Simon's here. What's up, buddy? Simon, Simon, channel moderator and channel member from Australia. Simon, what's up, buddy? So let's talk about EVs and Bradley. I saw the video today where it was like a, I don't know, like a half-hour video or something like that. That was primarily about the Apex, but at the end, and they had positive things to say about the Apex, and I have things to say about the Apex as well. But at the end of that, there was a segment where Bradley's sitting there, and he's talking to the camera while two of the people that were in the video were like just going around the pump track, like jumping and stuff. It was kind of weird. I don't really know why they chose that setup for him to give his speech. But in that speech, he talked about how he was going through a big shift in his life. His wife is pregnant, and they plan to move to Costa Rica. I think he said November 12th, right? So 9 days away, they're moving to Costa Rica. And it's just quite the shock, because I remember, I don't even know how long ago, him and Lucas came onto the scene with EVs, and they were tearing things up. They had all these big plans for EVs, and then within the last year, Lucas dropped out. Bradley did address the Lucas thing a little bit, because I've never heard Bradley talk about what happened with Lucas. And he says something about Lucas left because he wanted to start his own business. I don't know what that business is. I don't know, because it always seemed like the thing that was so cool about them was they had such great camaraderie. They seemed like great friends, and when that went away, it was just very awkward and weird to me. And then all of a sudden, like they were putting so much time and effort into their videos on their YouTube channel, and then that went away. Like they didn't post videos for a long time, and then when they did post them, they were just like a shell of what they used to be. Like reviews were just like 5 minutes of Gabe riding around basically, and not highly produced, not what people had come to expect. So it was kind of depressing. But then to have Bradley say that, okay, well, he's stepping away as the face of the company, and Gabe, I guess, is going to run things at the shop, as well as being the face on YouTube. And then Bradley said something about like maybe he'll try to get cameos in from Costa Rica, and so it was weird, right? But it did make me a little bit sad. Made me a little bit sad. But I wish him good luck. I mean, it's great that he's having a kid. But it sounds like he plans to go to Costa Rica and just kind of like get back to nature. He talked about growing his own food. He was saying that, I guess, for the price of buying something on the small side where he lives in Canada, he can get like 2 houses and like a bunch of land in Costa Rica. So yeah, good luck to him. Hopefully it works out well. Growing old and having fun. We're talking again about the filters and people in general changing who they are for online consumption. It's all about perception and manipulating it. Yeah, I guess, right? I mean, if you like, say you're someone that is like a big like you're a big content creator, and that is part of your business, is just selling that image. Like there's women that make lots of money from thirsty men, basically, by posting stuff online, and of course it's going to be filtered and altered. I guess maybe to them there's a direct correlation to doing that, but to everyone else, I don't know. Whatever. It's not going to affect me. You're not going to see me rolling around with filters. So, George, I'm currently on a carnivore diet, lost 70 pounds in 2024 alone. I get 2 to 3 migraines a year now versus 3 to 4 per week. The strange benefit of carnivore or lion diet is zero cravings for alcohol. Oh yeah? Well, I don't crave alcohol. I definitely don't. But I do know several people that do carnivore, and they've had similar results. A lot of weight loss. They claim that like some long-term health issues that they've had no longer exist once they went carnivore. At the party I was at on Friday, my buddy's brother, I don't think he's total carnivore, but he's close. But in addition to that, he also does intermittent fasting, meaning that every day he only eats between 2:30 and 6:30 every day. He does not eat outside of those hours. And I mean, and he's in great shape. He's going to be 50 soon. I think early next year he's going to be 50. So he's jacked. I mean, he's in really good shape. But he's been doing that for a long time, and he said that he's felt great doing it. And it wasn't as challenging to him as he thought. Making his intake window only 4 hours every day. Michelle, is this Michelle Chin? Hi, Duff. What's up, Michelle? Michelle is Ira's girlfriend down here in Florida. Thank you for stopping in. Michelle's such a sweetheart. I keep telling Ira and Michelle that you guys need to come over here and ride with me. You have an invite. You give me some times that work for you, and you guys are welcome to come over here and ride. For sure. Cedric enjoyed the montage at the end of the EVs vid. Yeah, actually the montage is what kind of made me the saddest, right? I don't know. I can get strangely emotional about things that you wouldn't expect. And that was one of them. I don't know what that is about me, but yeah, it's true. PJ, is the Apex wheel that you have to assemble? I've seen a few videos where you basically have to put the whole thing together. No, that's only because they got the early models. No, when you buy an Apex, you will not have to assemble it. But both the EVs video had to assemble it. I don't know that Marty did though. No, they didn't have to assemble that. Yeah, when he took it out of the box, he did not have to assemble the Apex. But it's not unusual for dealers that their first wheels that they're getting to have to put them together because they ship the batteries separate normally. Oh, and George is talking about that. Yeah. PJ says, I expect that, but this one looks like you have to attach both battery boxes and even expose the motherboard to plug them in. Customers aren't going to have to do that, though, PJ. Yeah, I am 95% or maybe even 99% positive that is not the case. George says, I think the manufacturer's requirements for minimum shipments of 100 wheels is really hurting small retailers. I had not heard that is a hard requirement. George, you might know something I don't. Who has that requirement? All the manufacturers? All right, I finished the search. Kim and Jack, I'm going to be right back. Unlike the last live stream, I do not have a cooler by my side because I do not plan to drink that much, but I'll be right back. Ooh, lipping. Ow. Limping. Yeah, lately my issue has been, it feels like my IT band on my right side is tight, which causes like pain in that knee. And hold on. Just doing some texting here. Very appropriate for a live stream to text during a live stream. Yeah, I've not heard that a minimum shipment of 100 wheels, because that sounds like a big minimum. Dale says minimum is usually 10 units, not 100. So, all right, so we have a discrepancy here. I don't know the answer. PJ, no, it was the Apex. Also, Ronin was testing a Griffin, Extreme Bull Griffin in New York, and that had to be put together as well. That was assembled, and he more or less likes that wheel. He actually bought that wheel, but I guess what Ronin does in a lot of situations, he doesn't do it as much now, but like he will actually buy a wheel just for the reason of reviewing it, and if he likes it, he'll hold on to it for a little bit. But if he's not thrilled with it, he'll just sell it right away. And he says that he can do that without losing more than a couple $100. It sounds like an expensive way to make videos, because he only has, I think he has 4,000 subscribers, so it's not like he has a big channel. But I think Ronin does a good job. He definitely does a good job. Murray, he's on a seafood diet. Yeah, I've heard about that. Well, I'm on a seafood diet too, pescatarian actually. Although I have not been as strict with that as I have in the past. Like, for example, Friday night at this party, Juan's wife made lasagna, and that was the food that was available, and it was lasagna with hamburger in it. I just ate it, Like when I've been out in California, I've done that too. Like there wasn't seafood available sometimes when I'd be eating, and I would just be like, whatever. It's not, if I'm able to make that choice, I make the choice to get seafood. But if it's too problematic, I'm not going to lose sleep if I don't have it. So anyways, yeah. Again, another sidebar. Michelle, you sent me a message on Instagram. Ira's extreme cut out on him going 50 miles an hour. Why was Ira going 50 miles an hour on his extreme, Michelle? What the? Hold on. Oh, my God. Jesus. Oh, my God. He's in the hospital? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh. Shit. I mean, I don't know Ira to be that much of a speed demon. I'm surprised he was going that fast. Oh, my God. All right. Well, yeah, wish him well. I'll reach out to him as well. That sucks. That is no joke. So it just cut on him, huh? Wow. You're outside his room right now. All right. Well, tell Ira that he made it to the live stream. Unfortunately, it's not for a very good reason. I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah. 50 mile an hour cutout. That is no good. How do you break his nose? I assume he had a full face on. I'm surprised he would break his nose if he had a full face on. And also, if he has a concussion, hopefully, again, a helmet should hopefully prevent that. But damn. Oh, my God. It was bad enough for me when going down to 36. I can't imagine going down to 50. Sijic says, Marty got his Apex from eWheels, which I'm sure did assembly for him. Yeah, I think you're right. Simon, how do you get enough fiber with a carnivore diet? I don't think they're concerned about it. And I've actually had people say that their movements on the carnivore diet are perfect. Like that's a noticeable change with a carnivore diet. Is that aspect of their life is like as good as you can imagine. Dale says he doesn't think the extreme is a 50 mile an hour wheel. Yeah, I don't think so either. PJ's doing his laundry. There you go. I did mine earlier today. Not that you care. Sijic, I wonder that myself on a carnivore diet, no fiber equals enlarged prostate from my knowledge. Oh, well, that would be bad. But Cindy Polinar, France 3. Yeah, thumbs up, whatever that means. Steve O, what's up, the fellow writer? What's up, Steve O? How you doing, buddy? Doing okay. It's been 2 weeks since my last live stream. There's been a lot of things that have happened in those 2 weeks, both in my world and in the EUC world. So we're kind of just we're tackling them one at a time. Okay, Cindy, you're getting close to being moderated, Cindy. I don't know. You're saying things that don't make any sense. Oh, Cindy must be a child. Okay, because we're talking about Minecraft. All right, gotcha. Michelle says it beeped and then cut out. Yeah. So I assume you were with him, Michelle, when this happened? He was on his way to volleyball. Oh, my God. Jesus. Yeah, he's lucky. I mean, he's lucky it wasn't worse, but I mean, oh, my God, it doesn't look good. That does not look good. Steve, 50 miles an hour and a 16-inch wheel. Like the Patton can touch 50 if you have high-speed mode on. It can. Would I want to do it? No. Oh, shit. You're kidding me. He had no protection on, Michelle? He was doing 50 on an extreme with no protection. All right. Once he heals up, I'm going to have to give him a smack on the back of the head because that makes no sense. Oh, my God, Michelle. That's crazy. Well, Ira seems much more reasonable than that. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay. So he's lucky he's not dead. Really. He really is. He is lucky. George says dietary fiber is only necessary if you're eating carbohydrates. The saying in the carnivore community is that carbs are entertainment. It's more complicated, but basically true. Worthy rabbit hole. And George agrees that the movements are really good. Yeah, sure. All right, so Dale, live stream moderator, has his eyes open for Cindy Polinar, but I don't think she's done anything since. Michelle says he was Ira was feeling good and didn't realize he was going that fast. Wow. So he's effed up. I'm sure his wheel is pretty effed up as well. Man, oh man, Michelle. Going down at 50 with no gear. Oh my God. He's going to be hurting it. And the thing is with Ira, I mean, Ira has a physical job. His business requires physical exertion. So that's going to be very difficult depending on his injuries. I mean, oh my God. Stan, any opinion on the Inmotion E25? Oh, that's something else. This is something else that's new in the last 2 weeks. Any opinion on the Inmotion E25? I think it's interesting, right? It's obviously a competitor to something like the Falcon, right? I guess. I mean, the specs look okay. People have criticized the way it looks, but I don't really care that much about how the way a wheel looks. It's how it performs and rides and gets its function done. But the news in the last 2 weeks is I talked before about how Inmotion approached me about reviewing the E20, the dual wheel E20, and I declined that option because it seemed like they wanted too much control over the review, and they wanted basically a template followed. And I said, well, that leads to kind of a dishonest review, so I'm not really interested in that. So I kind of just let it go. Albert, who now works for Inmotion, reached out to me last week and again asked me about the E20. And I basically told him what went down before. I said, well, I think the wheel's interesting, and I would review it, but I don't want to have all of these limitations and restrictions on me to do it. So I guess he passed that along to someone in Inmotion, and they reach out to me again, and I think they're going to send me one now. They're going to send me one, and basically their only request is that they get to see the video before I post it, but they don't have all of these restrictions on what's in the video. So I might be getting E20 to review. I'm sure Dale's very excited about that. And then I said to Albert, I said, well, I'd really like to see the E25. And he said, well, if things go well with the E20 review, maybe you could get on the list that Inmotion sends you more of their wheels to test. I'm like, okay, well, that's fair enough. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. We'll see if we get the E20. But anyways, again, in the last 2 weeks, I was contacted by Shift Robotics as well. They make, let me see if I can bring this up here. I think it's shiftrobotics.io, I think, is their website. It's dangerous when I do things by memory. All right, let's add this to the stage. They make these things called moonwalkers, and I remember seeing like a video on these when they first came out years ago, and evidently they have improved on them. They almost look like roller skates, right? But they have intelligence built into them. Let's see. Yeah, they have intelligence built into them. That's what they look like. They're expensive too. They're expensive. So basically, you're walking, but as you're walking, it is actually propelling you forward. So you're putting out the effort of a walk, but you're going at running speed, is the way that they advertise it. And you just strap them onto your sneakers. And somehow, like, they know when you're going up steps, and I don't know all the details about it. But anyways, I was contacted by them, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to review these?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure, why not?" And usually, when you get sent something to review, because I've been sent, probably a couple dozen things to review, they send them to you, and part of the deal is you keep what they send you, right? Like with the E20, I believe when they send me the E20, I believe I will now own an E20. I'm pretty sure. With these, once you review them, you send them back because they're, like I said, they're expensive, like $1,000 for these things. So I would do the review, and then they pay for the postage, send them back. I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of weird, but okay. But what they're going to do in lieu of me keeping them is they're actually going to pay me for the review, which is a first. I've never been like paid cash for a review, and they are actually going to pay me for the review. So, but still, it's not like I'm not able to give my honest opinion on them, which I will be doing. But that is something that should be happening. I'm not sure. Maybe before the next live stream, I'll actually get them. So we shall see. Kind of crazy though, right? Kind of crazy. Let's stop sharing that. Where's my mouse at? Why can't I see it? Oh, I'm over. Oh, okay. With 3 screens, it gets a little weird. All right, there we go. It's a little weird. Let's close that. Okay. Michelle was not with Ira when he crashed. Okay. He fell into a swale. All right. Well, I guess he's lucky he fell into a swale as opposed to on the road. And wind up like I did, falling in front of traffic. I'm glad that didn't happen, but with no gear. Oof. Oh, the one thing I wanted to talk about in relation to the E25, did you guys see that Begode is releasing their own dual wheel device? And it looks like it's based on, is it based on an M10.5 or an M10.4? But it's basically a dual wheel EUC to compete with the E20. They are releasing that. I don't know what it costs. I'm curious because one of the things with the E20 is it's super cheap. Like they're doing a Black Friday deal where you can get one for I think $319. I'm curious if eWheels has that new Begode wheel. Let me see. The dual wheel. I don't even know what the official name of it is. But I have a feeling that it's not going to be as cheap as the E20 is. And we haven't even talked about the Apex yet. And I have a lot to say about that. Dual wheel. No dual wheel. Okay, I don't see that dual wheel. A dual wheel on e-wheel site. I do not see it. How awful is the Mini to learn on? Thinking of picking one up. I wouldn't recommend the Mini as a wheel to learn on. I mean, you can. I mean, there's lots of people that learn on M10.3s, but my thing has always been, and I'm tall. I'm right around 6'3", long legs. But to me, it's much easier to learn on a wheel that has a substantial case, because one of the important things to learn when riding an EUC is how to mount and dismount. And mounting and dismounting involves bracing your leg against the case of the EUC. The wheel that is, or the foot that is up on the wheel, braces against the case of the EUC, and then you step up with the other foot. And doing it on something as small as the Mini is impossible, at least as far as I can. At least as far as I can manage. With the Mini, I just have to basically hop up on there. And I can hop on, but it's not but that doesn't apply with a regular wheel. So I wouldn't recommend a Mini as a wheel to learn on, but you could. Because the tire is so fat, it's pretty easy to balance and stay straight. Turning is a little bit more, well, I shouldn't say that. It's so small that you just turn with your feet. But I would much more recommend to someone learning on like an Inmotion V8S or even the V10F. That's a good wheel to learn on as well. So the Mini would not be ideal, although you can get one cheap. Michelle says Ira doesn't even remember the fall until he woke up in the ambulance. Oh my God, Michelle. Yeah, I'm glad it's not worse. It's bad, but I'm glad it's not worse. Vikus says, I'm always suited up in the links and only touch 50 on occasion. What a rush, but it only because it's slightly terrifying, right? Michelle thanking the chat for the well wishes for Ira. Stan, the Begode X-Way comes with a trolley, pads, seat, and a bigger motor than the Apex. Why are riders handing the Apex the crown over the X-Way? Who said that, Stan? Who's giving them the crown? And to me, the Apex has a big question mark with the variable suspension, and I need to talk about that. I know a decent amount of details about what happened when the California guys got it. But I, in general, I have questions about that whole setup, and if it's a feature that people really want / need. I think a very small subsect of the community could use it, but I don't really know if it's that great, really. That's kind of my opinion, but we'll talk about it more. George talking about carnivore, that his prostate is shrunken. All right. Well, that's good. Good. That's always good when it shrinks, right? Dale hates the E20. That's well established. I know, Dale. I know you hate the E20. But if someone gave you one for free, Dale, would you take it? I mean, you could take it and then you could like do something to it, I guess. That'd be funny. Simon, please review, but just say nice things regardless. Right, exactly. You have to stay away from those circumstances. Because when you do that, your review is worthless, right? In my opinion. Dale has not seen EUC vibes or vibes in here. Nope, me either. He's busy doing whatever he's doing with his photo booth stuff, I guess. The last live stream, towards the end of the 5-hour live stream, 5.5-hour live stream, actually. Remember, I tuned into his stream and like I didn't even recognize him. He was clean shaven. His hair was, well, I think his hair is normally pretty short, but you don't ever know because you never see him without a hat, and he had no hat on. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on, man, with vibes? Maybe he's trying to like change his appearance, so he's he's I don't know, looks more like someone that sells photo booths. Maybe, I don't know, but it was kind of weird, right? George, Apex tire change video was great at quarter speed, sound off, visual EUC porn. I didn't see that. I did hear someone say that the tire change was easy. I think Mark, during the ride at Fullerton, Marty said to Roger how the tire change was easy in the Apex. But Roger said he saw that video and he thought that the tire change on the Sherman L was even easier still. So, but it's good. I mean, in general, it's good that manufacturers are actually thinking about that. You know, the serviceability and how difficult or easy it is, because that's something I think for a period of time that was not considered at all. People didn't, the manufacturers didn't really care how tough it was to do things that might have to be done on a regular basis. You know, like the V11 was a good example of that. Like doing a tire change on a V11 or just a tube change, like if you get a flat, is ridiculous. So it seems like manufacturers are getting better with that. Murray with well wishes to Ira as well. So Dale, they look dumb. So do you think that the Begode wheel that has dual tires as well looks dumb? Just curious. Larry, try pickleball on the skate shoes. That would be probably not good. Probably not good, Larry. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I guess if I get them, I would take them to probably the Greenway. That would probably make the most sense, even though people will probably be laughing at me. But that would probably be the most sense of a place to take them. You know, because there's a combination of surfaces. There's stairs that I can try them on. So yeah. And I'm curious how long. I mean, how long can they actually last? I mean, I don't know. But for $1,000, they better be good, right? They better be good. Sijic says, my nephew hit a truck and now has a broken arm and pins in his leg ankle. So now I have a T4 Pro Plus for sale. Shit, dude. Oh my God. I'm sorry to hear that. Ay, ay, ay. Leo says, after some bending on the suspension for Marty on the prototype, there are some pretty positive reviews in the Apex. Well, I think it bent because the teeth broke, right? The teeth broke. Yeah, let me get down here and chat a little bit, and I will talk about it more, about the Apex. Sijic says about his nephew, he's fine now, won't ride any longer. He's starting to walk again. No, I understand that. Dale says if someone gave him an E20, he wouldn't take it. Maybe to make a funny video destroying it. I think it'd be funny. Yeah, I think it'd be very funny, actually. Michelle says that Ira got the results, 16 stitches and road rash, no concussion. Well, I'm glad he doesn't have a concussion. And yeah, wow. So Leo saw the Apex tire change and it did not look easy. Okay, I guess I should see that, right? Dale says all dually wheel EUCs look dumb, but I was referring to the skate shoes. Oh, you wouldn't take the skate shoes either? Yeah, well, yeah. Why not? And plus, if they're going to pay me a little bit of money, sure, why not? PJ, does Michelle C and Ira have their own channel? I don't think so, Michelle, right? Ira doesn't have a YouTube channel, does he? And I don't think you do. I think you have an Instagram, Michelle, or Ira does? I don't know. I don't know. But regardless, I'm sure this was not documented. That's my assumption. WM. Is this Wayne? Oh, it is Wayne. Okay. Just hearing about Ira. Michelle, please take care of him and let him know we are thinking of him. Yeah. Wayne. You don't make it to many live streams, Wayne. Glad to see you here. All right. So the Apex. So the Apex is the wheel that is a combination effort, I guess. Jack, Electric James Jack, is listed on their website as the sales leader. And then there's another guy that's the CEO, right? let me bring up their website. I guess I can share this. Yeah. So, okay. So you have Jack. He's the co-founder and the head of sales. And Sen is the CEO and the head of R&D. And it looks like Sen might have. So Sen was with Rockwheel, and it looks like he was also with KingSong. And remember, Jack was with KingSong for a period of time. So I guess maybe that's how they knew each other. So let's see about the Apex here. So, anyways, Marty was given an Apex by eWheels, and in Marty fashion, he's always very excited. He always likes to show the wheels he's given by eWheels. Very excited. He likes to be the first, right? He did his unboxing, and has an air shock. Has an air shock, but the suspension itself is more inbound, or it's more inside the housing of the wheel than conventional with a coil-over shock. Usually they're sticking out the back. This is kind of enclosed in the wheel, so it's a little different approach there. Here, like you can see, like you hardly see the suspension sticking out the back, right? And there's some positives and negatives to that. One of the negatives is, there is no seat per se, as is. They're counting on a third-party solution for seats. Another thing that has been talked about a lot by reviewers is there's no trolley, which is weird, right? I mean, every wheel introduced in the last, every wheel over 14 inches basically has had a trolley forever. And for some reason, they decided to not go with a trolley. But Jack has been telling people when asked that question that there is going to be a third-party trolley available. So that will. I'm curious where it's going to go and what it's going to look like. But supposedly there will be a trolley available for people that it's important to. A trolley is kind of a big deal, right? I mean, if you're gonna take your wheel anywhere, like into a store or I don't know, run errands or something, you kind of need a trolley when you're not riding it. But they decided to skip that for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. But the big thing about this wheel is the suspension adjustment, right? You can adjust the suspension with a combination of there's a latch and a set screw that allows you to quickly raise the suspension from a maximum of 150 millimeters down to 55 millimeters. And this is like one of the big innovative things that they pitch with the Apex. So they took the Apex, the California people. It was Roger, Matt, Marty, Dawn was there, and I believe Aaron was there as well. They took it to Fullerton, and on the first big jump they did, they jumped a stump there. I remember that stump very well when I was out there. They landed and they heard a crack. And what happened was that the gears, those metal gears that you see there, the little, I don't know, can you see my mouse? Probably not. It snapped. It like sheared off some of those gears. Now, evidently, Apex was aware that the metal that was used in these early prototypes was not that strong. And I guess they anticipated that it could be weak, and they anticipated it so much that they actually had sent Marty the hardened linkages that were not installed yet, which are, I guess these are aluminum. The original ones are aluminum, and the better ones are hardened aluminum, evidently. And they're anodized, they're black as opposed to silver, so supposedly they're stronger. So they I guess the wheel was given to Matt, and then Matt put the replacement linkage on there, and he did a video already. We did some off-road testing. I have not gotten to see it, so I don't know how his testing went. But the suspension broke. Now it might be fine, I mean, hopefully it's fine going forward, that isn't a weak point. But the whole thing to me comes down to, what do you actually like? Who needs this? That is my question. Who needs to be able to adjust the suspension? Now, the advantage of dropping it down to 55 millimeters, I guess, is that you're lowering the whole stance of the wheel, right? You're lowering it so you would have a lower center of gravity. Some people have pointed out that something similar, as far if your concern is to lower your center of gravity so the wheel feels more stable, that can be done by pedal adjustment. And this wheel does have pedal height adjustments as well. I'm looking at the website right there. It looks like it has 7 different pedal heights. So it has an adjustable suspension and adjustable pedal heights. Prior to this wheel, if someone wanted to make the wheel more stable, they would just drop the pedals to the lowest pedal height. So I don't know. I guess my point is I'm skeptical. How is it a cool feature? Yes. Is it cool? Yeah, sure. It's cool to be able to adjust the suspension on the fly, within 60 seconds. I guess it's cool. I just don't understand. How many people actually need this? How many people want this? I know it means nothing to me. If I get a suspension wheel, I'm gonna, whatever travel I have, that's the travel that I would like to be able to utilize. So I would not want to lower that. There are people that will, cutting edge people that are doing, I guess, a lot of higher end stuff with jumps and maybe between racing and jumping and whatever. But I don't know. I think it's a very small segment of the community, in my opinion. So I don't know. I'm curious how this is going to do, and I'm not quite sure why it's supposedly winning the war against the X-Way. Although it is lighter, right? I think it is a little lighter than the X-Way, not by a ton, but I think it is lighter. I'm not quite sure by how much. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Apex. $3,500. Not cheap. Not cheap. Dale saying the skate shoes look dumb. I take them if they were free, but I can't see myself using them much at all after I review them. Yeah, this isn't something that I would need on a regular basis, but there are people that I guess could use it, I guess. Wayne is ordering an E20. Really? It is cheap. It's definitely cheap. If I get sent one, Wayne, I could just give you mine when I'm done with it, because I don't know that I will need it. Unless I give it to someone else that wants to ride. Maybe I could do that, I guess. I could re-gift it for Christmas. PJ Ira, glad he's okay. Oh, you should berate him for no protection, no smart. Yeah, not smart. Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's learned a lesson for sure. But man, oh man, that's a painful lesson. Cedric says these guys jumping from company to company. I don't know. Well, I mean, he's jumping from company to starting a company, I guess. And the whole thing's weird, right? The whole tie into veteran. Again, it's fuzzy. I don't understand what the dynamic is there. They're using primarily veteran parts. The powertrain is veteran. The control panel is veteran. So, yeah, I don't know. Is the Apex different? Yes, it is different. Is it different in a way that makes me want to buy one? No, it is not. But that's just me. That answer will depend on who you ask the question to. Simon doesn't like a trolley. Yeah, Simon doesn't like the absence of a trolley. Yeah, I don't know of anyone that said that was a good thing. It would be interesting to and maybe Jack answered this on his question or his live stream with Wrong Way. Like why did they decide that it wasn't important to put a trolley on there? I am kind of curious about that. My first thought would be because of the way that they've moved the suspension inside the wheel housing, that it made having space for a trolley problematic. That would be my guess. And my other guess would be whatever trolley solution they have is going to probably be kind of like a bolt-on, ugly sort of thing, more than likely. Spartacus can't believe they skipped the trolley in 2024. Yeah, that's a opinion that has been shared by many. Sijic says, my question is, how much testing do they do to the wheels before they send it off to the real riders? Like, why send the wheel in its incomplete form to the reviewers? Well, I mean, from my impression, it sounds like, I don't know if that upgraded linkage was sent at the same time to Marty as the wheel. I don't know. If it was, and I guess I don't know. I don't know if they instructed Marty that they should put it on right away, or I don't know. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. EV's video, I mean, they were jumping the hell out of it, right? They were jumping the hell out of it, and I have no idea if they were using the upgraded linkage or not on that wheel, but they evidently did not break it. So I don't know. To me, probably what happened. This is me imagining. Is if you hit, the only way that those teeth would see that sort of force enough to shear it off like they were is if you had a bottom out, right? Because when you bottom out, now you have no more suspension travel to absorb the force. So now those teeth are taking the force. So I imagine it bottomed out the suspension, and that's why they sheared. Could that be avoided if you had more pressure in the shock? Maybe. Or different. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But it seems like that is what caused it, is that it bottomed out, probably. Because that to me, that would be the only time that those teeth would take that kind of force. Russell says, no trailing link suspension yet. Still looks like a pair of forks. When is an actual design improvement happening? Well, this is a design change. Again, I don't know if it's an improvement, but it is something different than what anyone else has done. Spartacus, why send out a wheel knowing the metal is weak? Again, they may have told Marty that, hey, you should replace this. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't asked Marty what the background was there. Spartacus says, I think the answer to who needs this wheel is Jack. Yeah, I don't know. Well, sales will tell, right? Who knows? There's wheels that come out that do really well. There's wheels that come out that don't do well. So we'll see. Sales will tell. Sales will tell. At $3,500, it's not a trivial purchase. So, and obviously it's not great. It's not great to have the one that's sent to the LA guys break, but like I said, it could be something that is just a result of bottoming it out and not having the hardened aluminum linkage on there. Dale, has the 150 millimeter suspension travel been proven? I don't know. There's a guy that's doing CAD mock-ups and doesn't think it will get the full 150 millimeters. Oh, yeah? I had not heard about that, Dale. That's a lot of suspension travel, right? If it's true. Oh, and also, I think Marty, I think before I came on, I thought Marty said something about testing on the Apex was on hold because he had to change the shock as well, right? I don't know the details, but I did see that shortly before I came on. So if anyone else has read that or knows what's going on, I don't. But I think I have to change the shock because I think supposedly Matt said he was going to change the shock before he did his testing. But to me, I didn't quite. If that's what happened, I didn't understand that either. Like if you're doing testing of a wheel, you should test it with a shock that is going to be included to the customer, right? You shouldn't put a third-party shock on a wheel that you're testing if the point is to review it for prospective customers. You want to review it as it's going to be presented to the customers. And I think that at least that's what he was talking about, is putting a different shock on it. Matt was, I think. So I don't know. Is it my problem? No, it's not my problem. But That's just my thoughts. So Leo says no pedal adjustment. The pedal height is linked to the suspension height. Oh, really? Okay, so those pedal heights are just the height when you drop the suspension. Okay, well, again, I don't know. I question how viable this is, or like how necessary of a feature this is. I question it. But the fact that I question it means that I could have, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. Sijic says, I'd rather have two different wheels for two different reasons than to have one wheel that needs a lot more maintenance with no trolley. I heard some people, I think in the EVs video, Gabe or Brad, I think it was Gabe, described it as like a Swiss Army knife of wheels, because it has this flexibility to change the suspension. But again, like you said, if truly you want a road wheel to ride on roads, it's not just a matter of dropping the suspension, but it's also usually more beneficial to have a different tire as well if you primarily are riding roads. So it's not like you're going to be swapping tires back and forth depending on the situation. So I don't know. I don't want to be overly critical of it, because I don't know. I haven't ridden it. I'm sure it rides nice. It seems like everyone that has ridden it has said positive things, good power, all that kind of stuff. I don't know that it's the feature that it's a godsend feature that we've all been waiting for. That's what I question. I don't really know that that's the case. Leo says to Dale that he thinks he's right. Some reviewers said they couldn't get the full 150 millimeter suspension. Okay. Multiple people have said that. Okay. Spartacus says the Apex Twilight Zone wheel. Wayne talking about the E20. I think it'll be a great learner wheel for those who would never get on a true EUC from fear. But guess I will find out. Yeah. I mean, that's been kind of my viewpoint is, there are positives and negatives to the E20. And the positive is it could potentially get other people into the hobby, right? They ride that and they're like, oh, wow, this is fun. I want to learn to ride an EUC. The downside is that riding a dual wheel device like that is not giving people necessarily the skill set to ride a conventional EUC, right? Because they're not really being forced to balance like they would on an EUC on that configuration. So although I think that you will potentially get more people into the hobby, I think there's people that will be like, okay, look at this E20, I'm riding this, it's not bad. They get a real EUC and they're like, oh shit, this is hard, I fell, I don't like this. So you're definitely not going to convert all E20 riders into regular EUC owners, but you will convert some. So I don't see the downside, basically. I don't see the downside to that. Whereas Dale and Marty hates the E20 as well. But I think Marty just hates it because I don't know, he thinks it's not cool enough. Marty thinks that EUC riders are in the cool kids club, and if you're riding an E20, you're not a cool kid, I guess. Oh, Sijic, not only Jack, but Albert as well. Why can't they stick to one company? Well, Albert, the first time I knew about Albert, it was when he worked for EVs. That's the first time I was introduced to Albert online. And then he went to eWheels, right? I'm not sure what that arrangement was when he went to eWheels, but I assume there was some sort of benefit to him going to eWheels. And then Inmotion came in and gave him a significantly better deal than what he was getting through eWheels. That was my understanding. More money for less headache, more or less. So, I mean, good for him. Good for him. So, if you can get a better deal from somebody doing something that you like and you like the job, then why not do it? I don't fault Albert for that at all. Sijic says that they should stay for at least a year. Well, again, it all depends, right? It all depends on the situation. Dale says, remember the trolleys for early wheels? you'd actually screw them into the plastic casings. Yeah, isn't I'm trying to think on the original 9bots, right? Wasn't that what was the did the original 9bot have a trolley? I'm doubting myself now. But yeah, like if you want to get a trolley for an M10-3, that literally screwed into the casing. And yeah, there were other wheels like that, Dale. That's true. Wayne says, I think that they are saying a bolt that had tightened but not put Loctite on came loose and caused all the force to be only supported by the other side, causing it to fail. Oh, you're talking about the LA wheel? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I haven't been watching Telegram today because I've been busy working on my freaking fence. My freaking fence. Let me just show you what I was doing today. Let's share this. Share outer stage. You can see it might be hard to see, but like these 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 sections of boards here. You can see that those sections basically they have new cross supports where the fence boards connect to. The old fence this is an area that gets hit by the sprinklers, and it seems like getting hit by the sprinklers over the years had basically deteriorated the old support boards for the fencing. The end result was these boards were popping out. They were flopping around in the wind. Some were just falling off totally because they were attached to wood that was deteriorating. So what I started today was putting replacement board. I'm facing over the existing shitty wood. I'm hammering in these replacement 1.5 by 2.5 sections of wood, and then I'm putting 3-inch wood screws. Both I'm toe screwing. I guess is toe screwing a word or toe nailing? I'm toe screwing these into the 4x4s, and then I'm dropping another 3-inch wood screw in the top and the bottom of every board. And there's 85 boards there that I did, and it took a good section of the afternoon to do it. So these are good. They're not going anywhere. And this is basically just to, at some point, that fence will probably be replaced and replaced with something better. But I'm trying to extend its life as long as possible, get a few years out of it. And I think this is a way to do it. So anyways, I did that section today, which is great. But the bad news is if I want to do the entire fence like that, it's probably triple that needs to be done yet, or even quadruple. So I'll wait for nicer weather to like when it's highs in the 70s to do that kind of stuff. But that was what I did today. Why do you care? I don't know. Probably don't. Wayne talking about the Matt's video. Let's see. I guess I should have watched Matt's video. He seems that it only gets 135 millimeters of travel of the 150. They're considering it 150 if it completely smashed the rubber bumper. Okay. Oh, barcode guys here. Imagine using the moonwalk shoes on one of those fast airport escalator things. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they would be fun in the airport, right? Yeah, hauling ass around the airport. Sterling says, regarding the Apex, I assume, there's 2 different shock options up to the dealers on what they order or both options. So what? So, okay. So the Apex could come with one of 2 shocks, really? I'm just looking. Okay, yeah. Let me share the screen. I just scrolled down further. So it looks like you can get a D&M TRU 8RC or D&M RCP2S. Okay. The one that the California guys have is on the left. That's what was on it. The D&M True 8 RC. So what does that? Okay, so the other one is a coilover shock. The left one is not. So did Matt put on this one that's on the right? Is that what he did? He put on the D&M RCP2S. Inquiring minds want to know. I guess I should have watched Matt's video today, but I just did not have time. Barcode guy says, about time we ditch all these sussy shocks for Fox MTB. Well, it seems like they go with D&M shocks a lot, right? With the EUCs. Fox shocks are expensive, dude. I mean, wheels cost enough as is. George says, the suspension feature I'd really like is to have a dynamically variable pedal height where your inside leg could be bent 90 degrees at the knee while the outside leg is straighter, like a skiing car. But wouldn't that only be good, George, if you're only making left turns or right turns? I would. Are you saying like it would dynamically change? Okay. I don't know. I mean, that's interesting, but I don't know that that's something that I would want. That would kind of be interesting to see that implemented, though. Stan says, it's very difficult to know if you're getting a marketing perspective or an unbiased review these days. True. It's true, Stan. It's true. You have to be able to trust the person that is giving you the review, I guess, based on their past history. Luis is here from New York City. What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a little while. Welcome to the live stream. Glad you're here. Joe Thompson says, on dual sport dirt bikes, they make 50-50 tires for dirt and street. 50-50 tires. What does that mean? Okay. I mean, some people have said that the TNT tire that's on the street tire, that's on the Sherman L, I mean, it's obviously not a dirt tire, but it does pretty well on the dirt, which is the tire that I have in my Master. That's something else I need to talk about, actually. But I'm curious what Joe is talking about, 50-50 tire, like what that looks like. Leo seems like he's not an E20 fan either. The positive of an E20 is that I don't have one. Gotcha. Barcode guy says with the 50-50 tire, nobody is happy. Okay, well, that doesn't sound good either. All right, so Dale says that's basically what Marty says. E20 riders are going to make us look lame. To who? Who is watching an E20 rider and saying that they're lame and then saying, okay, well, all EUC riders are lame? To me, that's something that is in your head, Dale. I don't. And if someone thinks that, I don't give a F. What do I care? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, man. George says, I speculate the prototype gears were 3D powered metal sintered to test shape. Production is probably CNC billet aluminum. Maybe. Barcode guy says, I would not be surprised if those teeth were made out of steel and still failed. Again, it's going to be time will tell, right? Time will tell. Look at the KingSong S20, S22. You know, they when that suspension was described and marketed, people were like, "Oh my God, look at this thing! It's amazing! It's amazing!" Right? And over time, we found out it sucked. It sucked. It really sucked. And even though the replacement with the rollers is better than just having it slide in dirty grooves, it still isn't good. So yeah, time will tell if the Apex solution is good or not. Wayne Chang says the flaw of the E20 is you can't gradually convert the two wheels closer together into one big wheel. Well, that's true, but I think that's true for any dual wheel EUC, right? Steve-O So I got curious today and looked up your Opsum on Social Blade and was shocked. They estimated her YouTube yearly earnings between 150K and 2.4 million. That's crazy. Yeah. And that's just YouTube, right? She's all over Instagram, I think TikTok. I don't know if she still has her OnlyFans channel or not, but I'm sure she was making a lot of money on that as well. It's funny. One of the comments on the EV's video today, because like I said, Bradley mentioned he's moving to Costa Rica. One of the commenters on the video was Opsum, and she says, "Oh wow, I always want to go to Costa Rica," and and Bradley said, "Oh, come on down." So yeah, maybe Opsum will hang with Bradley down in Costa Rica. Who knows? Who knows? Dale says in regard to, oh yeah, that's right. Dale is not an Opsum fan. That's because a lot of guys are simps. That's very true, Dale. That is very true. Dale says I should go to the airport and do it when you review the skate shoes. I guess. I wonder if guards would stop me. I could. I mean, I could just go in the airport and not fly anywhere. I could just go there and go around the ticketing area and up to the point where you get to the security screenings. I could do that, I guess. I don't know, Dale. We'll see. I will come up with some sort of creative testing for them. Steve-O says the gears in the differential of a truck are hardened steel and hold up for tens of thousands of miles, maybe even hundreds of thousands of miles, right? There's got to be a way to strengthen those gear teeth on the Apex suspension. Well, supposedly the production has hardened aluminum. I don't know how hardened aluminum is, but strength-wise. Those of you that are familiar with the Cybertruck, one of the negative things that has come up with the Cybertruck is the subframe on it is aluminum, presumably hardened aluminum. And there's been multiple cases of when that frame breaking when the Cybertruck has been towing something. Whistling Diesel broke his just from beating the hell out of it, but legitimate people with Cybertrucks have been towing and breaking the aluminum frame on their Cybertrucks towing. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how strong that will be. I don't know. Lone Ranger says, right after you answer my question, I had to run outside to fix my electric fence. A couple cows broke through, so I was working on fence 2. Thank you for addressing my question. Yeah, fence work. Yeah, the fence, I mean, the fencing is not fun, but what sucks about my configuration is, let me show you this. You may or may not have noticed that there's a hedge behind my fence. So after I put those new supports on, I had to get behind the fence, wedge myself between the hedge, which that area there doesn't look that bad. But when you stood up, there's all sorts of branches and shit that were just stabbing me and getting caught on everything. And I'm sitting there bending over, putting those lower screws in every board, and my back was freaking lit up, man. I was so annoyed by the end of it. Back hurt, knees hurt, getting all stabbed by branches and shit. Yeah, I was really annoyed. I was glad when I was done. I'm better now. Pacific Northwest, your new background light is awesome. Thanks, man. It's a Govee. I guess I should demonstrate. Let me just do a brief demonstration. I do have it hooked up to my Alexa, but I can control it with a Govee app. You can control it directly with the Alexa, but you can't do as many things. Like you can do like patterns and stuff here. So if I go to the gaming light, you can just have it do all kinds of crazy shit. Let's see, flight. Okay, that's the pattern is called flight. Cyber. Oh, I guess that's what I had. Cyber. Swing. So that just kind of alternates back and forth. Intersection. I mean, there's tons of them here. Crawl. Okay. And you can change the colors that are involved as well. Heat wave, that's all reddish. Layering. Phantom. It's kind of interesting. Emerald. Okay, that's very greenish. So let me go back to what I had, just because I think, oh, there's all kinds. Oh my God, that's only the first page of them. There's a ton of these. I'm going to go back to cyber like I had. But then the light, they call these light bars. And again, these are on Amazon. You can have them do different things as well. So like you can have them be a rainbow. Might be hard to see from your side, but it's basically cycling a rainbow with those bars. Ooh, fire. Oh my God, look at that. That's lighting up the whole room. You see that? Okay, I don't think I messed with that. Wow, interesting. Flower field. Yeah, I didn't forest. I didn't want to go crazy with like the effects and stuff because it would probably get annoying visually. Glacier. It's cool, but not cool on a stream. So let's just do the color again. There we go. But you can just change colors to whatever you want. White, blah blah blah, green. Let's go back to blue. Blue. Let's adjust my shade of blue, light blue. Okay, cool. And I can change the level of it so it's not quite so bright. All right, there we go. So anyways, yeah, there's a quick demonstration of the Begode lights. I like RGB. Always have. I also have an RGB light bar over there that can change color. It can cycle too, but it can't do as much as these can. So another cool addition to my living space. Sijic says, I want to stick around, but I got to crash out. I'll catch the rest of the stream tomorrow. Work at 5 a.m. Good group of people. You've accumulated stuff. Have a good night day. Thanks, buddy. Yep, I got to work too. What do we got? 10:30 and 1. I can go for a little bit yet. Sterling says, I wouldn't be surprised if she's making $1 million+ a year on Only Blams. Oh my God, can you imagine? I mean, I know Dale has found her stuff before, her OnlyFans stuff. I assume that she's still doing it. I assume. I don't know for sure. I've never looked at it. I mean, it's just that whole situation is very weird to me. Growing old and having fun. It was Bradley that pissed off Wrong Way by letting her live with him, and his girlfriend wasn't it. Yes. As far as I know, yes. That whole situation is very weird too, I believe. Dale says you can see you're free on Reddit. Yeah. Yes, Dale has demonstrated that to me before. Steve-O says the Cybertruck is backwards. An aluminum frame with a steel body should be the other way around. For a truck, steel frame, aluminum body. Yeah. Right. And originally the Cybertruck was pitched as being like a solid piece of steel for the external unibody, and it's not. Yeah, it's various pieces of steel that are stuck together. So Elon is infamous for pitching things as being one way, and they wind up being another. That is par for the course for him. That being said, I love my Tesla. I've loved all my Teslas, so I can't complain about my cars. But yeah, there are some weird things that go on with him and the company in general. Murray says the Cybertruck frame is only cast alloy, like egg carton, but alloy. Whistling Diesel dropped the back of the Cybertruck on a concrete block from about 5 feet high onto the tow hitch. Yes, I did see that. But then to be fair, he did the same thing with a Ford F-150, right? And it did bend. It did bend. I believe, but it didn't break. Steve-O watched Matt Burt's off-road review of the Apex, and he was running rock gardens at speed. Dude is one hell of a rider. YouTube channel is Trube. Oh, Bert spelled backwards. Okay. Yeah, that was suggested to me on YouTube. I just hadn't had a chance to watch it today because I was busy doing other things, but I will try to check that out as well. Yeah. So I was mentioning the TNT tire and my that I have in my Master. I talked about this in the last live stream, how my hope was to convert the Master to tubeless. And to do that, I put the TNT tire that's on the Sherman L. E-Wheel sent me that tire. They sent me a tubeless valve. I don't remember if I got to this point during the last live stream or if I tested it after that live stream. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember the timeline. But I took it out, and my point was to try to test the tubeless tire because some people were skeptical if that tubeless tire would actually hold air, because the rim, the C38 rim on the Master V4 is not a tubeless rim. It is not designed for a tubeless rim. It's designed for a tube. And it's not as deep as a tubeless rim would normally be. It doesn't have some of the, like a lip on the side of the rim that you would normally have with a tubeless tire to help seat it. But I was still able to seat the tubeless tire without a big deal. It sealed easily. I was able to inflate it with my Ryobi portable inflator, no problem. But when I took it out, I noticed that once I got over slow speed, like I would say maybe 10 miles an hour plus, I would start feeling a thump. I would feel an unevenness with each rotation. And when I looked at it when I got back, because I commented on it during the entire video. When I got back, I looked at it, and you could see like there's a little ridge in the tire that you can kind of use to visually inspect how centered it is. That ridge was changing its distance from the motor as you would spin the tire, meaning that the tire is not seated properly. Some people suggested that what you can do is just deflate it to a very low number, like less than 10 psi, and they just kind of roll back and forth on it, and that would hopefully get it centered and seated. I tried that multiple times with no success. I then totally deflated it and tried to massage it, and to the best of my ability, eyeball it to try to get that spacing the same all the way around. And I went through that process, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times. Still could not get that thump out of the tire. And right now the Master is sitting on my workbench in my kitchen, and I need to try it again. And I just have not gotten to it because the way it is now, like I would not want to ride it as it is now, because going faster, the speeds I would normally ride, it would have that unevenness feeling in the tire, and I don't want to feel that when I'm riding. So that is still in process. Still hoping to get that fixed. Hopefully I do. Because until it's fixed, I'm not going to ride it, but I will. If I do get it fixed, I will be able to use my PidZoom TPMS system on it. Jason Hornby. For a 6-foot plus 250-pound rider, I'm looking to upgrade my current wheel, V12 HT, and give it to my 11-year-old. What would you recommend for a stable, fast street wheel? ET Max? I would not recommend an ET Max to anybody. Again, this past week, I saw, I think, another couple people with these weird issues on the ET Maxes. They're dying, battery issues. I would not recommend an ET Max to anybody right now. They're just, I mean, there are some people that have not had problems, but I've heard too much shit about them. For you, I would go for, any 20-inch powerful wheel. I think you would be fine on it. A Sherman L would be fine for you. A Blitz would be fine for you. An X-Way would be fine for you. It's all a matter of how fast you want to go, how far you need to go. And that would probably make that decision. But any modern 20-inch wheel with a decent powertrain would be able to support you. I wouldn't worry about that. Other Lynx, yeah. Dale is a big Lynx fan. It's funny, tons and tons and tons of Lynxes have been sold. I mean, it was the shit. And now there've been so many knockoffs, and now there's so many wheels that are right around the Lynx performance-wise, including the Griffin, which is like a direct Lynx knockoff. The F22, which is not officially out yet, but that's going to have performance similar to the Lynx, if not slightly better. The X-Way, well, X-Way is more voltage. X-Way is either 134 or 168 volts. What's the other 151 volt wheel that I'm forgetting? Feels like I'm forgetting one. But anyways, my point is that the Lynx for a period of time was in a pretty unique situation where there weren't other wheels with those specifications. Now there are a number of wheels around those specifications, so it does not have the advantage that it once did. Dale says a Sherman L if you want more than 60 miles of range. Again, yeah, I still have not bought a Sherman L. I think the reality to me is it's too much money, and there was someone that was selling a used Sherman L with like less than 100 miles, but he wanted I think like $4,250 without pads, and then like $4,500 with whatever pads he bought or whatever. I mean, it was kind of silly. It was basically the price of a new one. So I'm just kind of wondering if I get lucky and wait a little bit, that there'll be someone selling a new one that I can save $1,000 on. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, because I'm already past the cutting edge period. It's not like I would be getting one super early, so maybe I don't need to get one right now at all, because I don't typically go that far on a wheel. The only time I go 70 miles is if I'm trying to do a range test. Wayne says, try using some lube with very low air pressure to massage the tire to be uniform around the wheel. I could put my some more bull snot on there, I guess, and do that. But the thing is like how can you massage it if it's under pressure, right? It's not going to want to move very well. Maybe, I don't know. I have to refresh my patience level to attempt it again, because I was losing my patience when I was fighting with it last time. So I need to be in a very patient mindset to do this again, and I'm not there right now. In general, mentally, I've been all over the place lately. Not great. I think part of it is, and this is a sidebar, which I do on occasion. Part of it is, it's now we're into November, and I know from the past experience, once Halloween hits, Christmas is here before you know it. And I've always been in a relationship over the holidays. Even the last couple of years, I was with my ex for Christmas. And of course, things imploded right after Christmas, but I was with her for Christmas. I was with her the year prior to that for Christmas as well. And then the year prior to that was the first Christmas after Cindy and I split up, but I still had a relationship with her daughter and DJ and all that kind of stuff. So I still sort of had a Christmas there, sort of, conventional-ish Christmas then. Right now, this is potentially looking like a Christmas that is just like it's me, myself, and I don't know. So I think that's effing with my head a little bit, probably, because my mood has not been good. I don't know. I'm not feeling very optimistic about things, even though I know I should, because I have a lot of things going for me, right? I have a lot of things going for me, but I'm struggling to focus on them as opposed to focusing on the negative. I have been doing that, so trying to change it. There are some things that I need to reconcile in my head. I think I'm having a hard time doing that. Okay, back to the chat. Philip Arnold, channel member. Still no issues with your ET Max, but Sherman L, a better all-around pick. Also want range. Yeah, I would take a Sherman L over an ET Max any day. Steve O, the F22 Pro, Steve O, right? The Pro will be the highest voltage wheel on the market. What is it? What is the voltage supposed to be in the F22 Pro? Is it 170 something? You have to forgive me, but I don't quite remember, to be honest with you. I don't quite remember. Larry agrees with Dale. The Lynx is great. George, the Commander Pro. Hey, I hear a lot of people say positive things about the Commander Pro. Is the EX30 still a good buy in 2024? Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, if you can get one at a good price, which you probably can. Can you get a new one for what, $3,000? Less, maybe? Yeah, I mean, in comparison, it is. I mean, it's a 3,600 watt hour wheel, lots of power, lots of speed. You know, certain people have taken EX30s, 60 miles an hour plus. So yeah, it's a good buy. I mean, I think it looks kind of dated and kind of boring by today's standards, but if that doesn't matter to you, sure. A lot of people are echoing that. Well, they're saying Sterling says if you can get a good deal on a like new used one on an EX30. Dale saying very low pressure if I'm going to try to massage the tire on the Master. Well, how low, Dale? I mean, I think I was at 8 at one point. I was at 8 and I stood on it and rolled it back and forth, hoping that would seat it, and it did not. Dale says for an EX30, $2,000 for an EX30. Yeah, that'd be a really good deal, right? That'd be really good. George says 3 PSI in the tire, wraps or covers with a power strap to assist with air seal, then use a dead blow hammer to center tire on the dead blow hammer. Really? I have a dead blow hammer. Okay. It's just hard. It seemed like when I would massage it, it's like, okay, well, I moved it in on this one side, but then it was off on another side. It seemed like it was any tweak I made was adjusted or was reflected on the other side. And then even though I got that side lined up and then it was off somewhere else, that's kind of what it felt like to me. But again, like I said, I kind of lost my patience with it. So that could contribute as well, for sure. Murray says, putting a tubeless tire on a tube rim is asking for trouble. One bump hit wrong, could see tire let go anytime on any ride. Well, I assume, Murray, you saw my video that I did on the Master, because I had concerns about that, and I did hit it pretty hard on stairs and curb drops, and I did a test later because someone had said that they had an issue when they put a tubeless Michelin Pilot Street 2 on their Master. And he said that he had problems with air leaking. And one of the issues he had is like he would, when he had his wheel in his truck, he would drop it off the tailgate and just let the suspension, absorb the impact when it hit the ground. And he said when he did that, he would lose air on his tubeless tire. I did that exact test with a TNT, and I did not lose any air. According to Jason, the TNT tire is different than other tubeless tires that have been put on wheels in the past, because the TNT supposedly is designed for electric unicycles. The Michelin Pilot Street 2 is not. It's a motorcycle tire, right? So supposedly there's a difference there. Supposedly he has other customers that have put the TNT on the Master successfully. So I don't know. I'm basing it on the kind of riding I do, Murray. Hard surface riding that I'm not gonna do anything that should put undue stress on that seal. And I don't even have armadillos in there yet. And it's sealed rock tight. It hasn't lost any pressure. And there's no sealant in that thing yet. And I do plan to put armadillos in there, but I haven't yet. And it's been fine. Dale says, I pump my tire to about 15 PSI and then bounce it a few times to get it sit right and top the pressure up. You bounce it. So what, you bounce it and then you spin it and you bounce it again? All right. 2 Cayman Jackson. I think that's as deep as we're going to go tonight. Steve-O, 176.4. What is that number related to, Steve-O? Oh, the voltage on the F-22? 176.4. Okay. It's a 42S? Really? Okay. Russell, how's your e-skate journey progressing? Oh, I haven't ridden the Max 6 lately. I haven't ridden it all this weekend. I haven't ridden an EUC. I haven't ridden a one wheel. I haven't ridden a skateboard. I haven't done anything in a week. Last wheel I rode was the V13. Well, I shouldn't say that. I did take my V13 to work actually on Halloween. I forgot about that. Yeah, I took it to work on Halloween. There it is, parked outside my office. So that was the last thing that I rode. That's a pretty quick ride, though, since I only live like 3 miles from the office. But I have not ridden the Max 6. I will. I'll ride it more. Someone contacted me on TikTok asking me if I did a range test on the Max 6, and I did not do a true range test. I rode it all over the Greenway, and I was impressed with not using all that much battery on what seemed like it was a 6 or 7 mile ride. But I guess I should try to do a more formal range test on it. Not that I'm required to by MaxFind. They don't care if I do. As far as they're concerned, I have fulfilled my requirements. But I am kind of curious how much range I can get out of that thing if I can get 20 miles out of it. I think it's rated for like 25 or more. But like anything, that's probably going very slow and with lighter people too. Let's see. Russell to Murray. I talked about swapping wheel rings or making the wheel ring bolt adapters for the wheel rings you want. I haven't drawn any up those. So, you're talking about for tubeless? To use tubeless on a tubed wheel normally. Russell says if manufacturers wanted, they could release upgraded wheel rings for some models, like they basically gave all new stuff, even gold plastics, the S22. Sure, I guess they could, yeah. Tubeless. Russell. But they much as opposed to retrofitting old motors to work with tubeless tires. Russell's point is they'd rather ditch old models and sell you new stuff. Yeah, amen. Right. Well, that's the whole world, right? That's the whole world is like that. It's a disposable world economy, where the goal is to just get you to buy. And the way to do that is to make things either break, wear out, or become obsolete. You know, that's why there's new iPhones every year and other things. Murray asking me about the presidential election. Do you reckon Trump will beat the cackle queen? It's funny. I remember when Hillary was running, they used to get on her for cackling as well. I have no idea, Murray. I've been very, very deliberately not paying attention to what's going on with the election. I voted, but I don't know. I guess I'm disenfranchised. I kind of think that no matter who wins, I don't really like either candidate. I don't know that regardless of who wins it affects me tremendously. But I'm just, to me, politics, at least American politics, I'm sure this is true all over the world. Politics are really controlled by the people that control the money, right? Through lobbyists and influence that's sold and bought. Those are the people that really control what happens. So, I don't know. I think I kind of have come to the spot where I'm like what I do or say doesn't matter. So I'm not going to worry about it, which isn't the best attitude to have. I realize that, but that's kind of where I'm at nowadays. Russell, oh, that's right. We had the time change, which was weird. It kind of snuck up on me. Russell says, hope everyone's doing good. Off to evening PT. It's only 7:53 p.m. here in Halloween Town. Okay, cool. Well, it's 10:53 here, or 10:55. Yeah, 10:55 here. Yeah, it's always jarring the first day of daylight savings, right? When it gets dark at, like here, it got dark at about 6, something like that. It just kind of makes, I don't know, it just makes everything feel weird. You get used to it. That's a good message there, Russell. Stay kind, right? The world often seems like it lacks kindness. It really does. That's a sad thing, isn't it? But a true thing. PJ says, like most elections, it's the lesser of two evils. Pick your poison. I guess. I don't. It's all manipulated and manufactured and the way that things are. Everything's about headlines. Because we're in such a society where like people can't pay attention for more than 3 seconds, and expecting them to actually read and research anything is like moving mountains. So all you get is sound bites and headlines and pictures, because that's all that they can expect people to pay attention to. And then people are actually making their decisions based on this kind of stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to me. Wayne says that's exactly why you need to vote. Well, I voted, but get the money out of politics. I agree, Wayne, 100%. But like once they introduced and they made super PACs legal, that's utterly ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. Basically, they took the power of voting out of the people, like donating, because there are limitations on donations from individuals. But the super PACs are a way to circumvent that whole thing. I mean, if you think about it and you look at it, it's absolutely insane that was allowed to happen. Because it does exactly what I said. It allows money to control the narrative. It's insane. It's insane. Am I going to change it? No. Does my vote change it? No. And my point, Wayne, is no matter how the voting happens, lobbyists still exist. The manipulation still exists, no matter who is the president. It doesn't matter. The system is fundamentally broken, in my opinion. And I don't know of a way to fix it, if I'm being honest. I know it's broken. I don't know how to fix it, because the people that control things aren't going to ever allow the changes to happen that would be required to fix it, like term limits, right? Term limits. Why are people in the Senate allowed to be in there for life? That's crazy, right? It's crazy. So, but whatever. I can't fix it, and I've kind of taken the attitude in multiple areas of my life where I'm worried about what I can control, what I can do. I can make my own decisions about things, but I can't control what other people do. Simon says Trump will lose, but claim he won. I bet he'll announce he's won before the votes are even counted, just like Bush did. Who knows? Who knows? I do think it's interesting that Trump has this time he's been going through like social media channels, like he was on Logan Paul's podcast. He was on Joe Rogan, and Vance was on Joe Rogan as well. It's interesting that he's taking that approach, and from what I can tell, it seems like it's been sort of well received. Interesting, but yeah, that he is doing that this year, whereas Kamala is not doing that as much, I guess. And really, and it's funny that really the election only comes down in the United States. The election only comes down to a handful of states that matter. Because all the other states, I mean, like their outcome is already set in stone. Like, that majority of states are going to be Republican, right? But there's those swing states that are really the only states that matter, that everyone concentrates on. And Florida used to be a swing state. I don't really know that it is anymore. I think Florida now has been Republican for quite a while. I'd be surprised if that changes. But yeah, it's all about the swing states. That's really all that they focus on. Larry says, what you do or say politically matters more in Florida than it does in California proportionally. Again, I don't know that Florida is a swing state, Larry. I don't know. Like, when's the last time that Florida voted for a Democratic? Well, maybe they went for Obama. I don't remember. I have to look. But yeah, it seems like Florida is more and more a red state. That's what it seems like to me. But we shall see. On Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Murray, were you better off in 2016 or to 2020, or better off the last 4 years? Well, see, that's a loaded question to me, Murray, because it seems like a lot of people, and I see there's conversation going on after me, but when people simplify it down to that, right? Like, oh, look, things were better during that time period than they are the last 4 years. People forget that when the current administration came in, it was in the middle of the COVID cluster F. And I mean, everyone knows how the world was just a mess. I mean, everything was delayed. People weren't going to work. Things, shipping costs went through the roof. It was ridiculous to get raw materials for stuff. It was horrible when the administration changed, and it seems like everyone is like, they're like, oh, they don't even think about that. Like how much of a mess it was. And subsequently it's all tied into how much of a mess things are now, because so many companies, when COVID happened and costs went up, which they legitimately went up because of scarcity and interruptions in the supply chain, the costs went up. They raised the prices and everything, right? But when those situations eased, they never dropped the prices. They just used it as an excuse to keep their profit margins high. They increased even if their costs went down, they've now established this price for things. So now they got a fatter profit margin. So yeah, I mean, people discount that, and I'm not defending Biden or the administration, because I don't like him. I don't like what happened on that election. I don't like it. But I think people are not looking at the whole picture, that they're discounting or they have a short-term memory loss of just how horrible it was when that transition occurred. It was horrible, and it messed up everything, and it was a huge cluster. So yes, pricing on everything has been terrible. Inflation has been high, but it's high because of the lasting effects of what happened over COVID and the greed that so many companies participated in and continue to participate in today. So, like when you hear promises like, hey, well, prices were lower when I was doing things, so when I get back in, prices are going to be low again. No, that that is not going to happen. I can guarantee you that. So, people that actually believe that are not looking at the big picture, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Larry says it's a surprise it took this long to get into the election. Well, it's because it's my live stream, Larry, and I don't bring it up normally. The Earth Painter says Citizens United for the L for sure. Yeah, right. It's just the super PACs are ridiculous. The fact that they got legalized is ridiculous, in my opinion. Ridiculous. And no one's going to get rid of them because people that control the money want them. And people that control the money control what happens with legislation. And they don't want them to go away, so they won't go away. They won't. Larry clarifying, super PACs refer to the Citizens United ruling. It's horrible. Yep, it is. Wayne agrees that dark money is bad, but those laws can be written to change. They can be, Wayne, absolutely. They can be. But they won't. In my opinion, they won't. Because those laws benefit the people that have the money. And that money is not going to go away. How is that going to go away? I mean, seriously. I mean, I wish I had an answer. I don't. That's why I just think that everything's fucked, really. I think the whole situation is fucked. And I'm sorry for swearing, but I do. Wonder what AI is going to think about this live stream. Spartacus. Yeah, stuff 2024. Yeah, no thanks. No. I'm focused on my sphere of influence and little else. That's it. Murray says it matters this time. Does it? You think it's going to change? I don't. Earth Painter. Yeah, that's another thing that always has bugged me, Earth. Supreme Court members need terms. The amount of damage done by Clarence Thomas alone is astonishing. Yeah, that's ridiculous too, right? Because that's like the fact that a president can come in, like if someone drops off the Supreme Court, if they die or retire or whatever, a president can make a decision that they put somebody in that's in there until they die for decades. That's crazy as well. Yeah, I do agree. And again, not in a nonpartisan way. I think it's crazy that that these are lifetime appointments for the Supreme Court. I think that's crazy as well. As much as the Senate is, I think it's crazy, in my opinion. Larry says Trump going through the podcast was smart. He's got the bro vote down. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Larry. And I think there's a widespread perception that Kamala isn't good with off the cuff conversation, like what is present in those kind of situations, like a podcast or whatever, that she's not good in that situation. And I don't know if that's true or not true, but the fact that he's doing all this stuff to appeal to people that listen to those podcasts, definitely it's an advantage to him for sure. Brian's here. Catch the replay, leaving a like. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, Brian. Brian, who is retiring this month, if I remember correctly, and I am very jealous of Brian. Wayne says the biggest problem is the way the district lines are drawn. Well, yeah, the way the district lines are drawn and redrawn, right? Right, Wayne? They're just, yeah, they are subjectively or they are just redrawn in ways to benefit one party of the other. That's stupid as well. Who makes those decisions? Are they voted on? No. Who makes those decisions? I don't even know. But yeah, it's just there's so much manipulation. There's so much corruption. There's so much fraud. It's just the whole thing is effed. It's effed. Dale says the AI recap is going to be interesting. Diets in politics. Yeah, it will be, right? Can't go too long. I had an issue with that last live stream. I had to jump through hoops to get AI to do that one because it was too long. I hit the limits where it didn't want to transcribe the podcast because it was too long. I hit the limit where they wanted me to start paying, so I had to get creative to get that last AI recap done. Wayne, are you talking about the district stuff? They are choosing their voters instead of the voters choosing them. Right? Yeah. Right. But again, who does that? Who makes that decision, Wayne? It's stupid. Murray, she has done nothing. You can imagine her dealing with Kim Jong or Putin. They probably won't even talk to her. Again, I don't know that it matters. I do think, like I said, I don't like either candidate. The biggest thing about Trump that has always driven me crazy is, yeah, he clearly is an egomaniac, right? He has a huge ego. And to me, it has always seemed like the biggest thing he wants is adulation. So he will tell people what they want to hear, like all the immigration stuff, and which is important. I mean, I'm not discounting it. It's important, but he tells people that already have a bias about certain subjects, things that reinforce that. And not necessarily because he believes it, but because it will get adulation from them. It will feed his ego. Same thing when he deals with lots of world leaders. Like, if they say good things about him, he likes them. If he says negative things about them, they suck. And I don't think it's very presidential the way that he handles stuff like that. But I'm used to it at this point. Whatever. Whatever. I'm not going to get bent out of shape about it, because it's not going to be anything that I can really change, no matter how it goes. Wayne says USA did way better than the rest of the world. What, with COVID? In which way? Not as far as supply chain goes. Costs were crazy. Pinoy Triathlon. Afghan migrants were being processed in my country before flown to the U.S. In Australia? Oh, yeah? Yeah, I don't know anything about that. PJ says, any politician that wants to pack the SCOTUS is a coward. I don't like the way they ruled, so I'll just put in a few of my puppets. The whole thing is just, again, that's another thing that's fundamentally broken, in my opinion. Fundamentally broken. Wayne says Musk, I think, put more than $119 million into the election. Oh my God. Yeah, I saw some clips of him when he was at a rally. He's been at more than one rally, I guess. And yeah, it was not it was not a good optic. Let's put it that way. It looked ridiculous. Ridiculous. Wayne says the problem with term limits on positions is that once they are in office long enough to understand how everything works, they are term limited out. I don't. Yeah, but to me, Wayne, what that means is they're in office long enough to become best buddies with lobbyists that they have all these arrangements with, that their influence is now bought and paid for by lobbyists. The longer they're in there, the more opportunities there are for that, the more powerful they get in Congress. So the bigger their sphere of influence is, the more there is a risk of them being corrupted by lobbyist money, in my opinion. So again, I am big in term limits would be a good thing, not a bad thing. Earth says Trump is different in the podcast. Yeah, no, I've seen some of them, and it's better. Better than some of the stuff like that he would say when he's in front of people at a rally. Thankfully, yeah, because those sound clips are crazy, right? Just crazy shit. So Wayne says the politicians draw the district maps in most places. They keep their own party in power that way. Some places use non-party method ways to draw the districts. I wish I knew more about that process, Wayne. It sounds ridiculous, though, right? That the sitting politicians control the districts, the way that they're broken down, so so the population that's in those districts are most likely to reelect them. Larry says that Trump is easily manipulated. Well, like I said, he's manipulated by people that say good things about him, and if they say bad things, he's very negative on anyone that says anything bad about him, even to insignificant people. I mean, his skin is very, very thin, in my opinion, very thin. Well, that's interesting. Dale says in Australia, it's compulsory to vote, and we get fined if we don't. What? Really? That's interesting. I think that's done because a lot of people vote because they have to vote without knowing what they are voting for. I never knew that. Spartacus says, Duff, when the AI starts asking for money for something she uses it to do for free, it's time to leave her. Good advice. Good advice. Larry says, I think both siderism is a problem. Both sides are not the same. One is a lunatic. The other is competent. Yeah, I mean, as far as people goes, as far as true, yeah. I think there's a difference in what's the right word? Quality of human being, I would say. But I mean, there's been a lot of negative things said about Kamala as well. But I mean, Trump is proud of the things he says and acts. Right? I know. Yes, there is a huge difference as far as their personalities and behavior and demeanor and their interactions. It is. I guess my point is, and you know, I vote, but my point is I'm not going to try to change someone else's vote, because I think that is next to impossible. If someone has made up their mind about who they're voting for, the odds of them having that thought changed by what I say is basically nil. So I don't want to waste my energy doing that. Yeah, that's kind of my spin on it. And either way, I'll survive. I mean, I'll be okay either way. And I don't know. We'll find out Tuesday. Dale says I should do an AI recap of an AI recap. That would be funny. It might make it implode, though, right? That could just like blow out the internet. Murray says, you have to remember, I grew up in a middle-class family, so I am not burdened by the burden. Gotcha. Wayne says, ranked choice voting needs to become more prevalent in the USA. I would like to blow smoke up your ass and know that or say that I know what ranked choice voting is. But I don't. What is that? When you have like multiple, like you pick multiple candidates and you just rank them like a 1, 2, and a 3? Is your point that would allow more than a two-party system, Wayne? Maybe. Yeah, that would be great too, right? Yeah. That's another thing I'm not a fan of. That basically, a third party never has an opportunity to do anything except take no votes away from one of the two parties that's going to win. No way. Have I ridden the Falcon? Oh, good. Back to ECs. Thank you. Have you ridden the Falcon? I have. When I was out in California, one of the visits, I did ride the Falcon briefly. Yeah, the suspension was surprisingly good, despite having a very minimal range of motion. Has good power. Was it impressive enough that I would want to buy one? No. But no, it's. I mean, generally speaking, it's good. I have heard a few reports of people having problems with their Falcon, but generally speaking, it has positive reviews. Larry says they should make voting day a national holiday. I have heard that before. Who cares about President's Day? Give everyone a day off to vote. And that would be nice. But I doubt that it'll happen. Like in Florida, like there's been a push to make it more difficult to vote. I think like they actually reduced the amount of early voting days in Florida. So instead of making it more convenient, they made it less convenient. Larry, how true is it, Larry? And I assume you know this, because one of the talking points that you hear in the headlines is they say, I don't know if this is the case or not now, or if they're proposing that to be the case in California, that you are not required to show ID to vote in California. Is that true, Larry? Or is that something that they're proposing? Because if it's true, I think that's very strange. I think that's very strange. So the fine if you don't vote in Australia is $60. Okay. So what? Basically, they check the voting rolls, and if they see you didn't vote, then you get a $60 bill in the mail. Interesting. George says this is a big thought here, George. We may need to reconcile with the possibility of that the Western Empire has already collapsed, and this is all just theater and an attempt to keep the circus clowns in office. Well, maybe. I've seen historians talk about like throughout history, like there's always periods of time that certain countries or civilizations are the dominant ones in society, and that usually runs somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple hundred years, and we are right at the edge of that, I believe. So I don't know, George, maybe. William Wayne, beware candidate that is afraid of fact checking. Any candidate. Well, facts are important. Right, Larry. Yes, nobody's undecided. That's a myth. Yeah, I know. Like that's why I don't really understand this. The millions of dollars that are spent on advertising. How many people are actually having their minds made up by commercials? Really? And evidently, somebody thinks that it is because they spend fortunes on these things. But really, how many people's vote is decided on what they're seeing in commercials? Not mine. Simon, he's amazed anyone to vote for a rapist or a convicted felon. Yeah, there's that. There's that. Yeah, there is that. Yeah. Fiend Wico says, I just love how we argue about American politics up here in Canada. I'm pretty sure I know about you guys' politics than the stuff up here in Canada. Yeah. Oh, more. Yeah. Yeah, it is funny. Well, it seems like the whole world is wrapped up in American politics, right? I mean, maybe not literally, but a lot. There definitely is a lot more attention paid to American politics than Americans pay to politics in other countries by a large margin. That is for sure. PJ says you can't fight both siderism by saying my side is competent, your side is insane. That's how you push people away. Well, in general, I'm never a fan of stereotyping. I really don't like stereotyping in any way, whether it's for my side or against my side. I don't really like stereotyping individuals. Says between electoral college, that's another ridiculous thing, right? The electoral college, gerrymandering and voting laws, a system has been pursued that encourages people to not vote at all. Ultimately, it's up to the individual, but hopelessness is a strategy. Yeah, it is. Larry, answering my question, you do have to show ID in California. I don't know where you're hearing that. They also check handwriting. Huh. I think it was one of the probably one of the headlines or blurbs that I saw somewhere. I don't remember if it was a commercial, if it was something on social media. Yeah, they were saying that you don't have to show ID in California to vote, which sounded insane to me. So, okay, so you do. Because I think the inference was, yeah, that's why they want so many illegal aliens in the country, so they can just go and vote without ID, because you can do that in California. And California is going to be Democratic, so I don't even know why it would be necessary to swing votes in California, right? Because although there are a good amount of Republicans in California, it is overwhelmingly Democratic. So I don't know. I didn't follow that logic. PJ says the Electoral College is needed so that larger states can bully the smaller states. So you support that as opposed to just a popular vote, which is like all the states? Because that's kind of what I would care about, right? Not an Electoral College, but just like all the states, popular vote. To me, I mean, that makes logical sense to me, but... Wayne, about the multiple vote thing, it makes voting less polarizing by eliminating the lowest choice than allowing the people that voted for that person to have their second choice count until you eventually get someone that is better. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard much about that, Wayne. Larry giving more information about California voting. Also, if you move since the last voted and changed address, you get a provisional ballot, which is only counted if the election is close. Oh, really? So that applies to you, right? Because you've moved since the last election, so you are getting a provisional ballot. I've heard of provisional ballots, but I didn't realize that that's what it meant. Or does it mean other things as well? Earth agrees with me that popular vote is better in every way. I would agree with you, Earth. Simon, yes, at the beginning of the century. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Britain was the most powerful for a long time. And it also applied, like I heard comparisons all the way back to the Roman Empire, how it was dominant and then it collapsed. Yeah. Welcome to Politics with Duff. It's fine. I mean, it's 11:28. I should be going to sleep, but it's okay. We will go through this. Why not? Simon says the U.S. economy affects most other countries, which is why U.S. politics are such a global issue. True. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. PJ turning around the comment about Trump to Bill Clinton, who was accused of some less than good things as well. It's true. It's true. That is true. It is going to be interesting to see what happens, like when all the P. Diddy stuff shakes out. Who's going to be tied into that? There's lots of shady stuff that goes on that we don't know about until we know about them. Pinoy. So in Australia you have 1 day voting. Oh, you don't have early voting? Okay. Spartacus says we need a real third party. Well, I've heard that forever, Spartacus. I think as long as I've been voting, which is now 35 years, we need a real third party that will put both parties on their toes. Now I'm talking about this RFG Brainworm guy, but a real contender. I think RFK Brainworm is more in charge of him than he is. Again, in theory, yeah, I agree. But in reality, nope, because money won't allow that to happen. Money will not allow it. And there's multiple parties. There's more than 3, but the money will not support that. So the bottom line is, if money does not support a candidate, they have no choice or no chance whatsoever. The big money does not support them. Larry says regarding the Electoral College, says that the Electoral College gives disproportionate power to smaller states. Oh my God. For instance, the population in Los Angeles alone is larger than Montana. Don't we matter? Yeah, I mean, if it's a national election, I don't understand why it would not be a national popular vote. And again, that isn't a partisan statement. That just seems fair to me. That the total people in the country vote for the candidate, and whoever has more votes should win. In my simple mind, it kind of makes sense. Larry says, you change your registration when you move, so the address is correct. But if I forgot, which happens, it'd be provisional. Okay, gotcha. And PJ is arguing about the Electoral College that the president is elected by the states, as stated in the Constitution, not by popular vote. Exactly why we are a republic, not a democracy. Yeah, but PJ, some people will do that. That they'll say, "Hey, look in the Constitution. This is how things are." The Constitution was written in 1776, right? Things have changed a lot since then, right? And that's why there's amendments to the Constitution, because it's been determined that what was true at one point is not always going to be true. And when that's determined, changes are made, and that's why amendments happen. And to me, this is a change that makes sense if you truly want someone that is voted by the majority of the people. That's I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect, that the Constitution states that, but what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that it is the best solution in 2024. That's all. Wayne says Russia and Ukraine are very much watching the election here. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. PJ, again, not a fan of popular vote, PJ. You're definitely not a fan of popular vote. I don't know if that's true, PJ. I mean, he said that you might as well just have California, Texas, and New York vote if it's popular because they have the majority of the population, right? But I think a popular vote would probably encourage more voting, right? More turnout. So I don't know that that's necessarily true. But the good news is, PJ, we probably will never find out, because again, the powers that be, which are not you and me, do not want that to happen. Sterling, Russia has a huge botnet of commenters on all the social medias, making it look like Trump has way more support than he does. Yeah, I have read about that myself, Sterling. No Republican has won popular votes since Reagan. First time voting blue. I wasn't aware of that. Is that true? No Republican has won popular votes since Reagan. I did not know that, Sterling. It's interesting, right? Wayne says Wyoming has 2 senators, but only one representative because the population there is so small. Yeah. Right. Every state has the same amount of senators. The House of Representatives is based on population. Does that? I don't know. Does that even things out in your opinion? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a well-established opinion on if I think that is good or bad, other than I don't like that there's no term limits. I don't like that. Earth and PJ Wares are going back and forth about popular vote versus electoral college. And to summarize, PJ says that the Electoral College is supposed to give disproportionate power to smaller states, And Earth is like, well, that doesn't make sense, because in the big picture, if you're looking at a national election, why would you not want the total population of the country to decide who wins based on simple numbers? If some person gets more of a percentage than the other, then they win, regardless of where they live. Because it does, I do understand the point that it does. You're giving voters in certain states more proportionate power. PJ thinks that's a good thing. Earth thinks it's a bad thing, and I tend to be more aligned with what Earth is saying. But I respect everyone's opinion, or their right to their opinion. I just don't have to agree with it. That's all, and they don't have to agree with me. PJ says change is not always better. Change for change's sake is idiotic. Oh, agree. Absolutely agree, PJ. I agree with that statement for sure. But like I said, there's countless examples of things that have been changed in the Constitution because it was determined that it was better for the current time. I'm not sure how many things have been changed in the Constitution since it was initiated, but the answer is a shitload, right? A shitload. Wayne says Florida has more population than New York currently. I don't doubt that, Wayne. Yeah, Florida. As far as I know, last time I heard, Florida is still the leading state that people are moving to. There's more population coming into Florida than any other state in the country, last time I knew. And that's for a number of reasons, but like there's some very simple ones, like no state sales tax, no state income tax, no local income tax, less property taxes. There's a lot of reasons that people are coming to Florida, and good weather. If you don't like snow, Florida's a good place for you. Larry says that George Bush won the popular vote in 2004. Did he? Did he really? I did not know that. Otherwise, Democrats have won every time the popular vote. Okay, I did not know that. Oh, okay. Earth, just confirming what Larry said, that Bush got the popular vote in 2004. Okay, there's a lot of opinions here, guys. Political opinions, and I usually steer away from it. But I'm just reacting to what you're saying. Dale says Bush should be in prison for his crimes against humanity and the slaughter of over 1 million Afghanis. Well, I mean that whole, again, I mean, you want to talk about money controlling things and strange, scary, dark, secretive things connected to 9/11. Whew. I don't want to open up that can of worms, but I have seen a lot of stuff related to that, and boy, that's a deep rabbit hole there, and I don't really want to go into it. But yeah, there's all kinds of shady shit going on there. PJ is sticking to his guns because people in Maine and Michigan don't want to live like people in California. Regarding to voting, a lot of people chiming in about Bush winning the popular vote in 2004. Yeah, Larry giving changes to the Constitution. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true, PJ. Like if we stuck to the Constitution, blacks couldn't vote. You would have slavery still. There's lots of things that have changed because they needed to change. It's just that there's a disagreement about the Electoral College versus popular voting, in your opinion. But like I said, don't worry, because it won't change. It won't change because it benefits the status quo for it to not change. And the status quo is supported by tremendous wealth that does not want it to change, so it won't change. So no worries. I mean, you can argue in theory, but it is not going to change in reality. I am very confident in that. Wayne says a lot of the way our system is set up was to keep slave states in the Union. Okay. Well, that doesn't sound like a great reason, right, Wayne? Larry, Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris. Yeah, but I don't. People call Dick Cheney now a rhino, which is funny, right? Republican in name only. Where Dick Cheney was like the epitome of the Republican Party when he was in the Bush administration. So it's kind of funny how things have changed. Traditional Republicans are not looked at fondly in many cases nowadays. It's kind of crazy, right? Wayne, what EUC do you think Harris or Trump would choose? Well, I can't imagine either of them being able to ride an EUC. Let's see, Harris. To be quite honest, I think they both would probably choose an E20. How's that for an answer? Murray, sorry, I kicked the sleeping tiger. It's fine, Murray. It's fine. It's knocking on midnight, so I will have to shut it down relatively soon because I do have to be a responsible employee of our local county government. Earth says, politics is rough. I wish it could be approached without emotion, logically choosing the best choice and moving on with life. But the importance of polarizing issues fires people up. Well, I've talked about this in streams before. Politics, religion. I mean, religion people are equally passionate about. And you can tie the two together, how religion ties into politics, which is, if we're talking about the Constitution, that is something that was supposed to be separated, right? Separation of church and state. And that definitely is not the case. Religion has a huge part in politics, a huge influence in politics. So that's why I just try not to avoid, or I try to avoid talking about such things, because they're circular arguments normally that result in nothing changing and nothing positive coming out of them. So I kind of avoid things that, or I try to. I'm not always successful. But I try to avoid things that consume my energy that have no positive outcome whatsoever. Why do that? Why do that? Pinoy wants to go back to EUC lifestyle. Sure. Yes, I agree, Fiend Wico, that the next couple of days are going to be interesting. But again, I am not following. I mean, yeah, I'll check to see who wins, I guess, but I'm not going to be spending my Tuesday evening locked into the election results. And that was not the case in 2020. I was. I used to be much more invested in it than I am now. Much more, significantly more, but not now. People are trying to get me out of the politics spiral. Yeah, it is a spiral. Well, I'll get out of it by ending the stream. Unfortunately, that'll probably be the only way that I'll get out of it. Oh, I just got a message for an email from Inmotion. Let's see what they're saying. Okay, they want my phone number. Yes, okay. It sounds like it's a done deal. They're getting ready to send me the E20. I'll dedicate my E20 review to you, Dale. I'll drop little tidbits in there that that I'll be referring to something that you said or thought about the Inmotion E20. Okay, we provide a signature for every product. Okay, so I sent them my email, or not my email, my phone number. So hopefully that will be the last thing that's required to get my E20. Dale says, yeah, Trump would ride the E20, tell everyone it's the greatest. Everyone's saying the E20 is the greatest. People are saying it's the greatest. It's the greatest wheel ever made, right? Trump. Larry says Trump would ride the Monster Pro Max, Kamala the KingSong S22. The Monster Pro Super Max, extremely stable, Genius Max. Yeah, something like that, Larry. Pinoy talking about how BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street own that much shares in U.S. corporations. Oh yeah, of course. That's what I mean. It's like the roots are in everything. It's like everything is touched by this corruption and influence, financial influence. It's all connected. It's all tied down. And that's why it can't change, because it's rooted in money controlling everything. And because it's rooted there, you can't change it. You can't. Short of like some sort of like literal revolution, sort of like some sort of revolution happening, which I don't know, maybe it'll happen eventually. It's not going to change. Oh, I just got a message from Ira. Cool. Hold on. On a Telegram. Larry says, election is what's happening now. Last week, I'd have been all Dodgers. Yeah, it is happening now. That's right. No, Dale, the email was not the script from Inmotion to review. No. I mean, it's not unusual for like someone that wants you to review something like a vendor to say, okay, well, these are like some of the talking points, like features that we would like you to, talk about. And it's okay. Like if something's a legitimate feature, sure, you need to talk about features that a device has or a product has, but you just don't need to be told what to say about those features. Yeah, it's fine to point out the features that something has, but then it's up to the reviewer to say if this is something they like, if they dislike, or is a good thing or a bad thing. Pinoy Triathlon says, whoever loses will have emotional damage. I love that clip. Emotional damage. Luis says, every wheel seems to be the greatest, right? Yes, every wheel is the greatest. Earth says, the Chooch approach. Yeah, I say every wheel is the best. That's because every wheel is better. Yeah, right. Nine Electromatic, nice to see the political comments. Looks like people are waking up. Does it? Well, I'm glad they're waking up because I'm getting awful tired. Dale says, I get my world news from memes. It seems more accurate than media. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, Dale, I think you're not alone. I think the world does get a lot of information from memes, right? And that's kind of I don't know, that to me, that's kind of a sad commentary on the world. Yes, memes are funny. I know. And Dale, you're very good at making memes too. You're very good at it. But that shouldn't be the primary source of information. Earth says the NFL trade line deadline also approaches. Truly important. True. Briefly speaking about the NFL, I watched the Eagles game. They played the Jacksonville Jaguars at 4:00. They had a huge lead and they almost blew it. If they would have blown that game, Nick Sirianni would be, and I think he's still going to get a lot of shit, but his play calling, he went for, I think, 3 2-point conversions and missed them all. And he went forward on 4th down instead of taking a pretty sure field goal. Is it 2 or 3 times? He elected to go forward on 4th down and didn't get it, and took those points off the board. I think the Eagles left something like 8 or 9 points that they more than likely would have gotten on the board or off the board based on his decisions. And he's always has this attitude that he likes to be aggressive, blah blah blah. But sometimes it pays to play it by the book, and if they would have lost that game, and people would have been calling for his head because the Jaguars are not good and they almost lost. The only thing that saved them was the Eagles wound up getting an interception in their end zone as time was running out. They got lucky, very lucky. So yeah, there's my NFL sideline. So the Eagles are now 5-2, 5-2 or 6-2. They might be 6-2. But I still don't have confidence that they are actually a really good team. Wayne says the big money wants you to think it can't change, and the rich are not the problem. 3 people in the U.S. are worth over $200 billion. No person needs that much money. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, again, it's all manipulation. Like the big money that's controlling everything. They want the population to have a tribe mentality. Liberals, conservatives. Each just backbiting and fighting constantly and saying horrible things about each other, because that creates a distraction that allows these people to do what they do in the background, because everyone is busy hating each other and thinking that the other side is crazy or incapable or stupid or snowflakes or whatever. And that allows them to do what they're doing, because they're like, okay, well, you guys look over here and you guys fight with each other, and we're going to be doing our stuff over here. Don't pay attention to what we're doing, because we are really the ones that are controlling things. So yeah, I've said it how many times now tonight, Wayne. I don't have a solution. Big money controls everything. How do you get that out? How do you flush that from the system? I don't know how. I don't. PJ definitely is not voting for Kamala Harris, for sure. Earth says loss of coordinators in Philly has really hurt that team since the Super Bowl appearance. Well, they did show a graphic today that said that the last 3 seasons, the Eagles have had a different offensive and defensive coordinator the last 3 seasons. Every year they swap them out, trying to find that secret sauce. This year they have Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator, who's been in the league for a long time and has a good reputation. And recent games, the defense has been better, but I still don't have any confidence in them. I don't know. I mean, the only player that I have a confidence in is Saquon Barkley. I mean, he has been a beast, and the Eagles did get screwed today, where the refs called a turnover on the Eagles, where Saquon was clearly he was tripped as he was hitting the leg as he was going down by a Jaguars player, hit the ground with his elbow, still holding the ball. And when he hit the ground, the ball popped out. And they called it a fumble because the refs said that he was not down by contact. So I guess if you don't go down by contact and you fumble the ball, it can still be a fumble. But clearly on the review, it shows that he was hitting the ankle by the Jaguar player, and that was what brought him down. That's what initiated him hitting the ground. And they had it on replay. They reviewed the play, and they still called it that way. They still called it a fumble, which was ridiculous. I have no idea what they were thinking there. It was clear as day, and they still did not overturn that call. So that was dumb. That was dumb. But still, the Eagles, that game should not have been close at all, and they got lucky at the end to save it. They almost lost, and part of that was Sirianni's coaching decision, being overly aggressive instead of taking points when you should take them. Wayne, Wayne, I appreciate your optimism, Wayne, that you think that there is a solution to this, because I don't. But Wayne says exactly, that is why we need to focus on the real problem and ignore the BS. Only we can vote. Companies can't vote. Well, but companies attempt to control the vote through super PACs, Wayne, and they are obviously good at doing so. you know, obviously good. PJ's going to bed. Yeah, I think I'm about ready to PJ. The stream is going longer than expected. Ozcrow checking in from Australia. What's up, buddy? Been streaming since 8:30 my time. Oh God. Can you tell I'm tired? My eyes are looking tired. So I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. What sport's that? We're talking about American football, Dale. American football. They don't play NFL games in Australia, do they? They've been sticking them all over the place. They play them in Brazil. They play them in London. They've played them in Germany, I think, sometimes. I don't think they've ever played them in Australia. Australia is a big rugby country, right? Ozcrow. Yeah, a girl will do that to you. To me? Yeah, girls do things to me. That's true. I have had issues with that, Ozcrow. I'd like to change that. More comments on politicians and EUCs. Mm-hmm. Wayne says, "Go get some sleep." I think I'm going to take that advice, Wayne. So Ozcrow hasn't been around for a while because of a girl. I see. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah. I mean, if you had the right girl, I mean, the best situation is you have a girl that actually wants to like ride with you and stuff, right? That's an ideal situation. That just isn't a situation that you find very often. But yeah. But I'm glad you're back, Ozcrow. I suggest you go back and watch the stream from the beginning. Also, I haven't been pushing it during the stream, but if you are here now, take a second to hit that like button. Even though I'm going to be shutting the stream down, that will help the replayability of the stream. It will be shown to more people. It'll be shown to more people. So yeah, if you have a second, click that like button, and you. I don't know. Like I should just go to bed and leave the stream open so you guys can talk politics all night, but that would just be kind of weird, right? I would wake up tomorrow and you guys would still be talking politics probably. Wayne says, "Oh, that would be awesome to have a girl ride with you." Oh God, yeah, not for me. Not for me. Spartacus stuff. I'm worried about you and AI asking you for money. If you need me to talk to her, I got you. No, AI didn't ask me for money. Just to be clear, Spartacus. What happened was the process is you have to have the podcast transcribed to text, and once that file got to be so big because that live stream was so long, it exceeded the limit that website accepted. And if I wanted to have it transcribed on that website, I would have had to pay, but I found another way to do it. So yeah. Finwico. Oh, everyone's banned in the morning if that would happen. Yeah, no kidding, right? So, all right, guys, it is now 11:56. I need to do a couple things and go to bed. That's simple. I do appreciate you coming in. The last hour of this has been primarily political, but there's been lots of good EUC discussion as well, as always. And like I said, a lot happened in the last 2 weeks in my life. And in general, there's been a lot going on in the last 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now, if I live stream from now, we will know who the new U.S. president is, right? We will know. And we can talk about that maybe. I don't know. Or we can talk about other things. So that's all I have for now, guys. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate all of you. And till next time, Duffman out.